All right, first and foremost, we give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so in the name of His only begotten Son, who the Word and we call Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai. It's the brother Chief Priest Alazar Ben Loy, aka the Guerrilla Hebrew, brother Captain Tazamah Mav, here to deal with some things, in the spirit. You know, these Christian idiots, so-called, they're done. All right, they've been done. They're absolutely done through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. It's getting real bad, as it has been from the onset. So the most decorated of all the Christian quote-unquote apologists who have called themselves trying to mount an offensive against Hebrew Israelism, as they have come to call it or classify it, is who they call Dr. James White. Dr. James White. His son recently had a debate with the ISUPK, but it's Dr. James White, quote unquote, right? He made some statements recently that I was made aware of. And he was speaking about Planned Parenthood. Anybody know about Planned Parenthood? What does Planned Parenthood do? What is it? Planned Parenthood's specialty? Being the enemy of black people, murdering black babies. That's the goal, like the brother said, abortions. So, as some of y'all may know, these Christian apologists are vehemently against abortions. They're vehemently against Planned Parenthood. Okay, Vocab Malone. What's my man, Jeff Durbin? Okay. Jeff Durbin, as well as other quote unquote Christian apologists. They have a mission. Mission meaning like what we would call an operation, where they will sometimes do a ministry in front of Planned Parenthood to encourage people not to go in there and murder their children, etc., etc. And they oftentimes get into verbal disputes with abortion advocates, quote unquote pro-choice advocates, which coincidentally are always white women. The black woman is the main one in there murdering a child, but only the white woman wants to come to advocate. That should tell you a lot about the whole abortion thing. If the white woman and white people are so behind it and white people want it so bad, that should let you know it's to your detriment. That's the first thing you should let you know, because everything else that's to your benefit, they don't want to have. You had your own society during the time of integration. You were able to get something. The white man did away with that, right? You were able to own a home at a certain period of time in a much simpler fashion and form than you can now, right? I was just talking to Brother Sergeant Shamar. How old did you get, Sergeant Shamar? 35 years old, right? 35 years old, and this brother knows only a very few brothers and sisters that he knows from his family who he grew up with that own a home. Do your parents own a home? No, right? See, but when you go to your grandparents' generation, they own homes. Everybody grandparents own a home. Why don't your parents own a home? Why don't you own a home? You see what I'm saying? Because of the institutions that were in place that were enabling us to do so have been torn down. The game has been changed, and the odds are typically stacked against us, correct? So understanding that, and white people have been at the helm or been the biggest advocates of all of those things that have led to that reform that has gendered such a negative effect in our communities, right? So your racist banks that won't mortgage a loan, which Bank of America just lost a lawsuit about that. And this is now not like a lot of this stuff that we've been saying, that your parents been saying, that old brothers been saying around the hood for decades. Now they're finally, Time Magazine is covering, the Washington Post, the New York Times are doing articles about it, saying, yeah, I mean, at this point, the numbers are just so staggering that there has to be admittance to the odds have been stacked against black people to own homes, Hispanic people to own homes, period. There's no denying it. There's no playing with it, right? Yet and still, James White says that, you know, we shouldn't ask for reparations. We'll get to that maybe in a minute. That's not even what I want to deal with, because that's just asinine. What I want to deal with is statements that he made in regards to Planned Parenthood. Of course, again, like I prefaced, he's vehemently against Planned Parenthood. and he acknowledges.
No, he's not. He's not against Planned Parenthood.
He's not against Planned
The
Parenthood.
whole plot is a black Christian said, "I don't feel safe in my church worshiping anymore."
But I say they are against Planned Parenthood, though.
But what he said was
that's not necessarily the point that he made there.
What he was saying was, so you want to vote for Hillary Clinton, who kills black babies? So that he wasn't condemning Planned Parenthood. He was just saying,
well, no, that's true, but their as a whole, their stance is against Planned Parenthood. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, they do videos in front of Planned Parenthood all the time. That's why I'm pointing that out.
Okay.
So he's against it, and he recognizes that something about it. So go ahead, make the point, set the point back up.
The black Christian was like, my church is predominantly white.
Predominantly white. He doesn't feel comfortable worshiping with white people.
With white Trump supporters.
White Trump supporters.
That's how it
okay.
turned into a kind of presidential thing.
So he's like, so basically he makes a statement. What do you want to? Would you rather have Hillary supporters? She endorses the murder of black babies,
right.
Which of course Trump is trying to allegedly attempting to stop it, which he hasn't stopped abortion. He just pushed it back to you can't go past 16 weeks. You see what I'm saying? So basically that was the point that he made. Right. Basically the lesser of two evils or whatever.
Right.
And what Hillary's doing is a far greater disservice to black people, I guess, is the point that he was trying to convey.
Right.
Okay, makes sense. But he acknowledged there that there's a Holocaust, that Planned Parenthood is waging a Holocaust on black people. He acknowledges that. James White. He's not saying that that's a conspiracy. He's not saying that we're exaggerating it. He recognizes that there is a targeted genocide against black people through Planned Parenthood, and he recognizes that Hillary Clinton is an endorser or an advocate for that. Hillary Clinton says Margaret Sanger was a great woman who was the founder of Planned Parenthood, who said people of color are like weeds. They must be exterminated, right? So he acknowledges all these facts, but can't understand why we're the Israelites. Deuteronomy 28:68, Exodus 1. That's all I need. According to what you understand, get it out. According to what you understand, James White, to be true, that there is a Holocaust being waged against black people in America, is all that you should need to know to understand that we're the Israelites. They didn't historically just do this to everybody. This level and this type of population control. Not only do they give abortions, but they shoot sisters up with a shot. What's that? Who knows what that shot is called? Depo what? Depo Provera. All right. Who studies words? You got to study words. You got to get into the meaning of words. Etymology of words. What is Provera? Who knows what pro is? That's easy. Pre is before. Por is four, right? Pro is four. Vera is the Latin way of saying truth. Depot is short for depopulate. Depopulate those in favor of the truth. And it's aimed at black people. 74% of the recipients of Depo-Provera shots are black women. Facts. To depopulate those in favor of the truth. That in of itself is proof we the Israelites. Deuteronomy 28:68.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
Salakia. Start from the top.
Come. It says Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
One more time, Salakia.
Kind. Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
The Lord shall bring you into Egypt again, right? With ships. What do they say to this? It happened in 70 AD.
Yeah.
Hold on. What did Faithful just say?
135.
It happened in 70 AD and 135. This idiot, what's his name? Mike Perea? Yeah. Mike Perea, this idiot. What? AKA Faithful guy. He's SOG, correct?
Yeah.
from what is that? Soldiers of God,
Sons of God.
sons of God. I mean, they need to just idiots. That's what they need to change that acronym to idiots. He doesn't realize the fatal flaw he made when he said that it happened to the Israelites in 70 AD and in 130 or 135.
135.
135. You know what he did? He just shot all of y'all in the foot because he recognized and acknowledged that it happened more than once. And that's all we're saying. We're not saying that the curses of Deuteronomy 28th chapter exclusively pertain to what's happened in the last 500 years here in the Americas. We've never held that. We're saying that, yeah, it happened here in the Americas, and it also happened in times of old. Anytime that the nation of Israel fell into sin as a people, we were subject to some or all of the curses of Deuteronomy 28th chapter. Understand first, then rebuke. Y'all don't even understand the position, right? So as soon as Mike Perea acknowledged the fact that it happened more than once, he acknowledged the validity in saying that the transatlantic slave trade also falls under the curses of Deuteronomy the 28th chapter. You see that? Give me that scripture, Salakia, about their own tongues condemning them. It's in Proverbs or Psalms, I believe. Psalms. Baba Kushan. Finish that.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee. Read.
Thou shalt see it no more again.
What shall we not see again? The land of Egypt. That's what it's dealing with. Read.
And there ye shall be sold unto your
You
enemies.
shall be sold to your enemies there. Read.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
First off, let me explain something, right? Now they're gonna say it means you're gonna sell yourself. No, that rendering, that rendition of translation for that scripture is something that you don't see prominently until the late 1800s into the early 1900s and mid 1900s. There's a reason for that. Can anybody take a wild guess as to why all of a sudden in the late 1800s and early 1900s they changed how this was rendered and translated to saying that it means you were going to sell yourself and you were going to have a buyer? Wild guess in the room.
Emancipation.
Not the emancipation, bro. Well,
Wait, say that again.
is there a reason why all of a sudden in later translations after the KJV in the 1800s and 1900s, the translation changed to they're going to sell themselves and no one's going to buy it?
I would say the Masoretic text.
It had nothing to do with the Masoretic texts. The Masoretic texts don't read the way they're reading it. Don't read in that translation. You see what I'm saying? Don't read to saying they're going to sell themselves and there's not going to be anyone to buy them when they sell themselves. The reason is because the transatlantic slave trade happened. Negroes can read the Bible now. We have to change it. We can't just leave this in here. It's going to be too obvious. So all of a sudden, all these other translations that come after the KJV, over 200 years after, nearing the end of the transatlantic slave trade, now all of a sudden the translation reads different. That's called being divisive. And you wonder why we're not KJV onlyist, but we prefer the KJV for exactly these things, right? And you want to deal with the Hebrew, we'll deal with the Hebrew. First of all, let's deal with the Hebrew, right? Now, James White, what's this say? Now, it might not be the best penmanship, but what does this say? Matazarium or Mizraim, since you don't like the Lashon Kodash, fine. Mizraim, right? That's what this says, Mizraim. What does this mean? Of course it means Egypt, but break the word down etymologically. What does this mean, man? It means amongst the rocks or in a tight or enclosed place. I'm lying? Am I making this up? No, I'm not. Any scholar in Hebrew will tell you this. That's what it means, amongst the rocks, because that's what Tazar is. Tazar is rock. You add the yum at the end. Salaki, where I'm at. Tazar right here. Tazar is rock, right? Tazar. Tazar. Ma is with. Tazar. With the rocks, plural. Yum is plural. It means with the rocks in a rocky place, or a figurative Hebraic way of saying in between a rock and a hard place. So that's what we understand Egypt as. Yes, of course, Egypt was a physical location, a geographical location where this slavery occurred to us, the Israelites. But any place where we're in between a rock and a hard place can be likened unto Egypt. Any place we're amongst the rocks, we're in an enclosed place. We're encapsulated. That goes into Zechariah 5. We're in between a rock and a hard place. were in Egypt. So that's what it's talking about, man. All right. That's 1000% what it's talking about. Y'all can say whatever the hell you want. I don't care. The Bible is clear. Precept upon precept is clear. That's something that you will never have an understanding on because you don't have the spirit of God, man, because you're the devil. You have something.
Job 15:6.
There we go.
Thine own mouth condemneth
The
thee,
own mouth of Mike Perea has condemned him. Read.
and not I.
And not I didn't have to say anything to you. We didn't have to say anything. You condemn yourself when you acknowledge that Deuteronomy 28:68 happened more than once. Read.
Yea, thine own lips testify against thee.
Your own lips, Mike Perea, have testified to the validity of our argument, of our understanding of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 68th verse. You're out of here. 1000%. You're through.
Psalm 64
Uh-huh.
and 8.
Read.
So they shall make their own tongue
Oh, go ahead.
to fall upon themselves.
Your own tongue fall upon yourself. This is a cycle. Deuteronomy 28:15 on down is a cycle of unfortunate events that would occur to Israelites if they sinned. And anytime that we sin, we fall into this cycle. We saw it in with the Babylonian captivity, the time where the Philistines reigned over us and judges, the Moabites reigned over us and judges, certain other Canaanites reigned over us.
And Daniel said we was under the curse of David.
Moses in Babylon, right? So if you say, oh, that all happened in 70 AD, it also happened in 600, 700. This is something that continually had, even before that, during the time of the Greek captivity or the Greek oppression. Even the Medo-Persians, was that called a captivity? Yes, it was. So during all these times, we were under the curse of Deuteronomy 28 chapter. All of them not necessarily didn't affect us every single time, but some of them did. We were trapped in that cycle as a result of disobeying the word of the Most High God, which is the law. All right? That's clear. Now give me Exodus 1. All right? So understanding and knowing and acknowledging that there is a black Holocaust or a Holocaust, a population control agenda, a genocide, eugenics being practiced on black people by the institution known as Planned Parenthood, that is a government-funded and sponsored institution, an endorsed institution. You recognize that we're the Israelites, James White. Because what happened to the Israelites in that Egypt of old? Now, mind you, the Egypt of old, which is what the new Egypt would be likened unto. You can't call a new place Egypt or liken a place unto Egypt if it doesn't have the same things that Egypt had. If it doesn't have elements that are reminiscent of ancient Egypt, right? So let's find out. Give me that.
From the top?
Nah, start at like 10.
Okay,
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy what's going on, man. Go about 8.
Yeah. Exodus chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Read on.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Let us deal wisely, man. See, because that's why white people in the North, quote unquote, North people of the Union, they called it during the Civil War time. That's why they look down on Southern white people. And they call them rednecks and they call them white trash. Why they call them rednecks and white trash? Because white people in the South say, black people, you walk on that side of the road, we'll walk on this side of the road. Nigga, if you got a line, I'm going to hang you, I'm going to lynch you. You look at my white woman, I'm going to hang you, I'm going to lynch you, etc. That's what white people in the South do. White people in the North say, we could walk on the same side of the road as them. We could drink out of the same water fountain as them. How we're going to deal with black people is cunningly. Read that again.
It says, verse 10, come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Let us deal wisely. That's where conspiracies come in, which in this case, this conspiracy is a conspiracy that James White acknowledges as real. He acknowledges it, as well do many Christian apologists. They acknowledge that there is a conspiracy against black people through Planned Parenthood, because it doesn't take a rocket scientist to find that out. Reason why there's one in every hood, period. Right? So we say, let us deal wisely with them. That's how white people in the North are. They're not so overt with their racism. They're more systemic. They're more institutional with the racism. They pass laws that get you 10 times the amount of time for a crack rock than you will for the equivalent amount of cocaine in a powder form. Because white people on the weekends, they snort coke. Black people are crack addicts. But even then, the advent of crack and the introduction of it to black people is also something that the Central Intelligence Agency in open federal court admitted to being a part of, or had to admit, or was proven to be a part of. So all of that is the northern white people dealing wisely. That's okay. They can do whatever they want, these niggers. We're gonna give them every disadvantage. There's that meme that's got the black person, a white person, a race, and the white person is clear, and you got all these hurdles. You got a pit of piranhas that's gonna bite you. You see what I'm saying? That's what we dealing with, right? So that's the difference between them two. So this is the represents in this new Egypt, the new pharaohs, the rulers of this new Egypt, which are white people from the north, saying, hey, we're gonna create Planned Parenthood. We're going to just murder these people's babies, but we're not going to directly murder them like y'all want to do in the South. We're going to get them to murder their own children. Officer, go ahead.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
Well, what?
Were smoother than butter.
We're smoother than butter. It sounds, that's that white man now who done looked at what they did in the South and they just looked down on it. We ain't got to do it like that, because the white man is taking on a serpentine nature. So that serpentine nature, say you ain't just got to be overt with it, with your hatred, with your bloodlust for these people. We gonna speak to them smooth as butter. Read.
But war was in his heart.
But we're going to wage war against them every day. For example, Donald Trump took a picture last year on Cinco de Mayo with a taco salad on his desk and said, "Happy Cinco de Mayo. I love Hispanics." He spoke good while he passed legislation and got things ready and started to attempt to bring hell on the tribes of Israel that Spanish speak, and not just Spanish speak, because Levi, the tribe of Levi, the so-called Haitian man, okay, and no, because he done made Paul is Jamaican. No, when a brother say Paul is Jamaican, what he means is the tribe of Benjamin, now after being exiled from Israel and brought through the transatlantic slave trade by our ancestors, now resides in the West Indian Islands. The chief of them are Jamaica. Is Moses Haitian? If Moses is on the scene today, he would be considered a so-called Haitian, or maybe from one of the other Franco-West Indian islands, Suriname or French Guyana or something like that.
So you mentioned his ancestors. He's gonna say he's a Scot and he was in slavery.
He's a Scot in slavery. The New York Times put out articles recently about how the Irish and the Scottish were not slaves, and how that's a lie that white people have concocted to try to and exaggerated situations to try to diminish and take from the very real.
While getting empathy for themselves.
Yeah, by getting empathy for themselves. Well, we were slaves too, and we don't cry. Well, were you slaves to the magnitude that we were for the time period? Was the psychological games being played to that level? You understand what I'm saying? Were you being treated like cattle? No, you weren't. Indentured servitude and serfdom was a periodic agreement between two individuals that came to an end. What Scottish man had a family and his wife was subjugated to rape at the drop of a hat by their lord?
And they all had notes. They all had their promissory notes as well
To say, this is when I'm gonna get free.
Yeah.
This is the contract. Right? That's it. Did we have that? Well, at what time did the Scottish man have his child ripped from his hands and sold to the other side of the country to never be seen again? When did that happen? But y'all were slaves. Kiss my ass. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
And just the fact that, your children are born into slavery.
Yeah, were your children born slaves for life?
Right.
Yeah.
When did that happen? You understand what I'm saying? And there were Scottish slave owners of black people and Irish slave owners. Stop pushing the narrative that the Irish and the Scots never owned slaves, because that is also a goddamn lie. Finish that, or you had a point, Sergeant?
They try to run that same tactic, run the same game with the Holocaust.
We went through a Holocaust. Well, by the admission of James White, our Holocaust is far greater than the one the Jewish man went through, which of course we're Holocaust deniers. But hey, even if we entertain the Holocaust and we put it on the table, 6 million versus, I mean, who could even count? Easily at minimum 20 times that amount, right? Finish that, officer.
His words were softer than oil.
His words are softer than oil. No, all people. We love all people. All people are welcome here, and we're a place of equality where hard work can get you everything that you want. Smooth word. It sounds great. It sounds so great that hundreds of thousands of our people from Latin America, the islands, Central America, come here every day because they believed in the dream. Go ahead.
Yet were they drawn swords.
Yet as soon as you get here, see, this is funny. I'm always gonna remember this. Nicki Minaj in her first special she did on MTV. She said, when I was in Trinidad, I thought America was just castles everywhere. Then she got here and lived in the projects. Then her father became a crack addict. Then he tried to kill her mother and burn the house down with all the kids in it. You see that? It sounded good to come to America to work. Then you got to America, there wasn't work. There was hell. There was oppression for the tribe of Benjamin that came here, just like it was for any tribe that's here or came here. Then your father gets on dope. This is all his plan, right? Go ahead. While he spoke good to you. Go ahead. That's it on that. Yeah, that was in your point. Let's go back to Exodus.
Start back at verse 10.
Uh-huh.
Come on. Or Exodus 1 and 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply and it come to pass.
So this is why they put in what James White spoke about, Planned Parenthood. Let us deal wisely with them, lest they be great. They want to suppress our numbers. We fluctuate in between 12 and about 14, 15, 16% of the population, and have been for 30 or since the 70s. Why? We should be growing in population like the rest of the populations. Why aren't we? Because of abortion. That's the only reason. They say literally, if it wasn't for the legalization of abortion, the black population would be double. It's at approximately, I'm not saying this is an exact number. I'm not trying to number Israel. All right. They approximate it's about 44 to 45 million black people in the United States of America right now. Right. So let's say it was double, it'd be about 90 million. You understand what I'm saying? Then now there's probably about 50 million Latinos, they say, and Native Indians. So we're talking about 150 million people. That's a lot of people. That's too much to deal with. You see what I'm saying? So what do? They implement a population control system to stifle our growth, right? And then they come into the schools and they try to indoctrinate sisters at the schools to get on birth control, do this and do that, because they can't stop these our young people from having children, because we just keep doing it. This is why I brought this article out a year or two ago. I just bring an article out, a conspiracy article. I went to the United States government grant website to show that the United States is offering $250 million for people to go and introduce a Planned Parenthood-like program into Haiti. $250 million, $250 million to legalize abortions in Haiti and start aborting Haitian babies, because the life expectancy in Haiti is very low. We spoke about this. That's also according to biblical prophecy. It is low, but the population of Haiti is enormous because young people keep having babies. They just can't stop us from having kids. That's just like the Israelites. That's what the Egyptians were afraid of. We can't stop these niggas from having kids. They make jokes and they make us a proverb and a byword about black people having kids and Mexicans, Hispanic people having kids. And you hear it more so about Hispanics, but if you look around, it's the very same thing you can say about Hispanics, you can say about black people. The stereotype is universal for all 12 tribes, right? So with that being said, what are they doing? They want to introduce these systems to kill your children, right? So read that part again.
It says, Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass.
Let's create an economic instability in their communities that will make it hard and very difficult to have and take care of children. Right? Back in the days, the man went to work, the woman stayed home, minded the house. Now we create an environment where both parents have to work. So there's no supervision for these children in their early developmental ages, or the supervision that they provide in daycare have astronomical prices. So it's unrealistic to even do it. You see what I'm saying? Let's create. There's an article that just came out on this about non-committal, how non-commitment is so big right now, how it's like almost becoming impractical for couples to exist.
Right.
It's almost impractical now. They have created this entire environment that makes women go, I don't want to have a baby. I might have to raise this baby on my own. This nigga might bounce. We're not even in a committed relationship. He's doing what with whoever. We just having sex on the side. They have created this whole environment and culture that makes people not want to have babies. So you're more likely to spend $300 to murder that child, officer.
And then you know, you have the fear of marriage out of wedlock. I mean, having a child out of wedlock.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So now men are taking longer to have a child.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they worried about, you know, well, even the woman worried about getting pregnant, you know, at an early age.
Getting pregnant. This dude ain't gonna be the one I'm gonna be with. This gonna stifle a good man from coming in my life because he's gonna have to take care of somebody else's kids, which a nigga ain't want to go. They've done. I mean, we're just scratching the surface here.
Right.
The layers are deep for how they are trying to create an environment where you almost would be stupid to say, I'm not gonna kill this baby. That's the environment that they've created. This is them dealing craftily, just as they did in Egypt. So what does this prove? That we're the Israelites. Because it said that the Israelites were going back into Egypt. They would be in a condition and in a situation similar to that of ancient Egypt. What's part of ancient Egypt? Your population being controlled, your youth being killed. Instead of just, they one up the Egyptians. No, we're not just going to wait till the baby dies, see if it's a boy and kill it. We're just going to kill it before it gets to be born. We don't care if it's boy or girl. Right? Go ahead.
Going back.
These are the new Egyptians, the neo-Egyptians, white people. Okay, that's why they worship Egypt.
Right.
What happened? Who would know what started Egyptomania? Napoleon going around the world conquering every damn thing. He goes to Egypt, he sees a Sphinx, he sees a pyramid, he just falls in love. And he studied the things of Egypt. And that inspired more white people to study the things of Egypt. And that made them want to copy everything of ancient Egypt. That's why you see it on your dollar bill. So they have literally created a new Egypt, and they call it America, man. Right? So go ahead, Salaki.
It says, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they are falling out any war, they join also unto our enemies.
They were afraid that we were going to rise up against them. What were glimpses of this happening? In the 80s, there was conflicts between Libya and America. That's when Muammar Gaddafi started bringing black people from America over to Libya, educating them, arming them, giving them money, etc. That was an example. They were afraid of stuff like that happening. There's rumors that communists funded certain civil rights groups going back to the 60s. This is what they're afraid of. And especially it makes sense that communists were funding certain civil rights groups in the 60s because in the 70s is when abortion became legal. You see what I'm saying? That's what was going on at that time. So that makes perfect and total and absolute sense. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says, when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
That's right. Because let's say if the Arabs in North Africa and into the Levant that were on one accord wanted to come against America and they wanted to empower black Americans, America might not be here today. It might be someplace else. And we all might have been been born into Islam instead of the various denominations of Christianity that we were born into. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
You want me to keep going?
Yeah, go ahead. Keep going.
Verse 11. Therefore, They did set over them taskmasters to afflict with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
We built America. Quiet as it's kept. We was working on the railroad all the live long day. Not only us, but we did that. We built that White House. We built up all this stuff. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Verse 12, it says, but the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
But guess what? We still was having babies. We still was doing our thing. The slavery ended. Then here comes Jim Crow. They're hanging us. They're lynching us. They're marginalizing us. We still having babies. We still growing. They coming with the census every 10 years. They can't believe it, right? Go ahead.
It says
they thought they was going to do us like certain other peoples who had just totally been damn near obliterated or exterminated, but they had no ability to do so. Go ahead, because of the Most High God is with us. Go ahead. Go ahead, officer.
I mean, look at the Aborigine.
Look at the Aborigine. See, now here's what's funny. You see, I posted this article on Facebook because everybody knows that the Hamites in South Africa is done with the white man. They're kicking him out. So Australia is proposing expedited refugee status for South African whites to come to Australia. Then I posted the status. I said, y'all better hope the Aborigine don't get the same idea. But then I'm worried about it because of the number that they've done on the Aborigine. Also, quick jab now. I want everybody to keep this in their bag of tricks for these Kemetic cats, these Egyptologist cats. Scientists confirm the civilization of Aboriginal Australia is the oldest civilization in the world. That's what science now said. See, this is the thing about them loving, quote unquote, the white man's science. When we say the white man's science, of course, the white man does not have a monopoly on science, but white scientists and mainstream science, that's the white man's science that ignores truth and pushes theories for an agenda rather than empirical and absolute fact and truth scientifically, for the record. Now it's saying that the Aboriginals have the oldest civilization in the world. So now when you put all that weight into that, and now you can't say, what are you going to say? Well, the white people are just doing that for their own agenda. These niggas ain't white. They blacker than the African man. The Aboriginal, they're a whole different color than you've ever seen. They like a damn black maroon. You see what I'm saying? So what agenda are they pushing there? What's the great that white people don't gain anything from the Aboriginals possessing the oldest civilization in the world? This is what they're saying according to their flawed theoretical science. So when a nigga tell you Egypt is the oldest civilization on earth, no, it's not. The Aborigines have the oldest civilization on earth. It's a scientific fact. Update your science. According to the white man that you worship. Go ahead, Salakia.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
They're grieved. The white man is grieved at seeing you black and Hispanics every day. They're grieved. They want you dead. So what do? They build abortion clinics in your neighborhoods. The Jews that run this, the so-called Jews, fake Jews, the synagogue of Satan that runs the music industry, ensures that the music that gets the most airplay only promotes the most cancerous of activities. Black on black genocide, drug usage, whoremongering, pimping, these types of things. That's what's promoted. If you're not talking about that, you're not going to get a major record deal and be pushed through mainstream media. Right? So now, if you get pushed through mainstream media, that means everybody who's aspiring to get to that position and wants to be a part of the rap art form, what are they going to do? They're going to mimic or talk about the things that they're seeing. Because you got artists like Future, who's one of the biggest artists on the planet Earth right now, who says that he doesn't use these drugs, but he makes records about them. You see what I'm saying? Why does he do that? Because that's what has catapulted him to the position that he's in as one of the top guys on earth. If y'all remember T-Pain, me and Sarge and Officer Bazak was just talking about this on the way here. T-Pain used to be, and then they brought in Future to replace. Pain wasn't making drug addict music all the time, right? So we were just listening. T-Pain did a remix of Cardi B song with 21 Savage. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of y'all, right? He showed you that you to this day. Ain't Future now. Everybody, I love Future, right? T-Pain is this dude is making hits still, but nobody cares because Esau has pushed Future to the forefront. This is the guy you listen to, who's not as talented as T-Pain, right? But why? Because he's Percocet, Molly Percocet. I love he got a song where he says he's talking to a female. That's why Sierra left him for Russell Wilson. He's talking to a female, and he said, "I love the dirty more than you, dirty Sprite, lean. I try over you, over my family, over the woman that I love. I'ma sip lean over you." That's why he's over T-Pain right now, because T-Pain is not singing, and not saying that he's promoting positivity, but he's not promoting being a junkie either. You see what I'm saying? So this is all the various forms of what they're doing, because abortion is just one agenda.
Right.
They have to come with a multi-pronged attack to stifle our growth as a population. Soldier.
The devil's devices are outrageous.
And there are many, and as it says, we're not ignorant of it.
Right. God.
Martezarian.
Because we're what are we? We're amongst the rocks. We're in between a rock and a hard place. Go ahead.
This week on Channel 10 News, there was a
KUSI.
Channel 9. That's
9's KUSI Salaki. That's ABC 10
Could
Salaki.
have been, I don't know. It's San Diego News. It's facts.
One of the news channels.
I'm watching an interview how a cop right now in San Diego.
Yeah.
They have an incentive program
To
to arrest people in the southern division.
Yeah, in the southern Spanish. That's it. That's right.
They're
A reward. There's a reward to lock the people up in the southeast.
It's a literal point system. You have half point, full point, 2 points, or whatever the case may be. And the cop he was dressed in black. They hit his voice. They gave him a new voice.
Yeah.
He's talking about how immoral it is.
Yeah, he blowing the whistle.
All for the persecution of the black Hispanic.
Exactly. Incentive-based incarceration, which this has been doing this because San Diego already last year had to admit that they pull more black people and Hispanic people over than white people. That they in fact do it, and that white people are actually more likely to have illegal things in their car than black people.
Right.
Go ahead.
Last point. I was in Carlsbad today. I'm running red lights.
Yeah.
I'm
No problem. There's not a problem.
I was at my grandma's house on Skyline last month. I got a ticket for coming out of the driveway the wrong way. You know.
Hey, what did my man say? What did Ndubu say? Killmonger's daddy. They are over policed.
Yeah.
It's a fact. Hard.
Yeah. I just wanted to point out also too, because right, Cap's reading about this is happening by the Egyptians, right? When we're in the Mizraim, but this if you go like to Psalms, right, it shows you that all nations conspire.
Yeah, it's not limited.
Right.
It's I mean, because this is ancient Egypt. The Edomite, the so-called white man, but the white man has conspirators. He has West Indians identified there. He has Asian conspirators, and he has quote unquote Arabic conspirators. Pursuant to that, which we'll get after this. Go ahead.
This is the book of Micah, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand.
Read on. My bad. Actually, never mind. I got my joint. Go ahead.
And they covet fields and take them by violence.
See, this now, we got to deal with context. That's talking about Israelites. When y'all read Micah 2, that is not talking about what the white man does to us. That's talking about evil Israelites and what we were doing. This is what gets us put in on the slave boat, us treating each other like that. So when Christ Yahushua came and said, do unto others, he's saying, don't do this. Because we did this to ourselves. Jeremiah 34 talks about Israelites enslaving one another. These are things we're not supposed to be doing. So us doing these things gets us put in the position we're in now. Got us put in Babylon. Read Jeremiah 34 top to bottom. What Jeremiah's message to Israel is, The Most High is saying, if you don't let all your Israelite slaves go, this is the last straw. All the Israelites, y'all read it, all the Israelite slaves go, then they took them back. What happened? The Most High put us directly into Babylon. Directly into Babylon after that, right? You see what I'm saying? So that's something that we've done to one another. So again, that proves that when it's talking about love your enemy, all these various things, it's talking about, because this is something that we have serially had the problem to do over the generations to this very day, right? This G from LA is talking about, man, y'all let the white man do whatever you want to, but another black or another Hispanic do something and you gonna go kill his ass, man. See, we need to learn to love each other and to be forgiving to one another. That's something that we have not learned as a people, and that's something that the Israelites had a continuous struggle with, and we see it all over the Bible. So that's what Yahushua Christ came to give, the message that he came to deliver unto us, all right? But these Christians have tried to make this about them, when Yahushua, who you inwardly call Jesus Christ, never cared about you, never died for you, never had a message for you, never went to see you, all right? Officer Yah.
Like I always like to say, OG Maloney said it the best. He was in the streets. Niggas is going around and doing drive-bys on one another when they killing your partner. He's like, why don't you go to the white
Maybe do a drive-by. You think the nigga Jesus? That's it. You think the nigga is Jesus? That and which is one of the most powerful and profound and true statements. You will not harm him because you hold him in his high esteem as if he's God. That's how you look at him. So who would harm God? Why would you try to harm God? Nobody believes in God more than Negroes and Latinos. So we don't do that. You see what I'm saying? What will we do at a drop of a hat? Murder and kill one another. You see what I'm saying? Instantly. Go ahead with that, Cap.
Going back, start back at verse 12. The more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
Officer.
And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
They were grieved at us, right? Read.
And the Egyptians,
they hate looking at us. A lot of them, man. They hate all our niggery. You see what I'm saying? They hate our culture, right? You guys, you'll see me asking for reparations. They hate us. They look at it like is it just far-fetched? Or let's deal with the brother now that led him to say the things that he said about not wanting to worship with this mostly white with Trump supporters. He's got the right idea, but it's like, my dude, like, is it unreasonable? All white people, is it unreasonable that because of the race relations of the last 500 years, that a black person may not want to be a part of an institution that's headed by white people? Is that is a nigga crazy for wanting that? You know what I mean? Like
white people,
Trump supporter white people. You see what I'm saying? Like, is that maybe I should feel uneasy and I might want to kind of go worship amongst my own? Maybe I would feel more comfortable. But here's the thing about it, James White, you're taking all this issue. He's still gonna worship your fake faggot white Jesus. You see what I'm saying? He just wants to worship that faggot amongst other white people. That's all he wants. You see what I'm saying? But no, there's a problem with it. Go ahead.
Come. It says in the
water. I don't got no cash. You get the water. The water.
It's got natural minerals.
Minerals added for flavor, right? Yeah, no, I'm good. It's just the brother gonna take care of it.
The cups are clean.
Most High in Christ, yeah, that's crazy. Little zinger, look at that, huh? Yeah, some with some flavor too.
That's hair.
Yeah, they got to clean that cooler. But go ahead.
All right. It says, and the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
With what?
With rigor.
They rigorously oppress us. The Egyptians, as we multiplied, the Egyptians rigorously oppressed us. As we multiplied in America, the white man rigorously oppressed us. What's an example? Greenville, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We grew, we went and lived separately per request of the white man. As we lived separately per request of the white man, we grew, we became an economic power in that enclave known as Greenville in Tulsa, Oklahoma. How did the white man repay that? By firebombing us. You see what I'm saying? That's what happened. There was a firebombing that went on. People talk about 9/11. The first time an aircraft was used in a terrorist attack in America was state-funded agencies and white people gathering tiki torches like Frankenstein was in town, killing black people for simply flourishing economically and minding our own business. That's the equivalent to what was happening to the Israelites in Egypt. And these parallels are so obviously connected. We are so obviously have so many things in common with these people that how can you possibly deny it? Now we want to talk about college degrees. We want to talk about education, etc. James White, a cousin of mine, is head of religious and African American studies at Howard University. He's a graduate of Princeton University. Is that enough accreditations for you? Doctorates in these fields. Eddie S. Glaude, look him up, wrote a book called Egypt. I might have it in my bag, called Egypt. And in that book, he scholastically shows the endless parallels between us and the ancient Israelites and the story of the Exodus, and how there is literally no story in the world that we can relate to more than that, but you're going to deny that we're the Israelites? It's undeniable that we're the Israelites. Go ahead. Bag. My bag. Where's it at? Salakia. I'm asking for a bag this right. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
Right? Go ahead.
Verse 15. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
You see that? Kill him. Population control, murdering babies. This goes back to ancient Egypt. It's the same thing that we experience in ancient Egypt. When thou seest a son, what?
It says, but when thou seest a son, then ye shall kill him.
Then you shall what?
Kill him.
Murder black Hebrew Israelite babies. These are other black people that did it. White people got a hold of this notion in the Neo-Egypt, and they did it better. They did it more wise. They did it more cunning. They did it through Planned Parenthood. Right? Go ahead.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Why? Because a man establishes a nation. This is clearly something that was recognized by them by saying, if they don't have men, they don't have a nation. If they have women and their women marry us, then their women have given birth to our children and are continuing our lineage. Because it's not about bloodline, it's about seed line, it's about lineage, because you are the nation of your father, right? So now let's go back to Deuteronomy 28:68 again.
Deuteronomy 28:68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again.
Egypt again. What we experience in Egypt, population control, rigorous hard bondage, oppressive overseers and masters, we're going to go through that again, Dawada. We're going to experience this again. Read.
With ships.
But we ain't going to walk in and out like last time. We're going to experience it this time via ship. Read.
By the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again.
I told you weren't going to go into the actual land of Egypt again. He makes this promise in earlier chapters of Deuteronomy. Read.
And there ye shall be sold.
There ye shall be sold. You're going to sell yourselves. That's not in the Hebrew. Quit playing, man. You shall be sold. If I'm sold, what does that mean? Somebody sold me. And I had to be what? Bought. You ain't selling something. It's sold. It happened already. The car is sold. I mean, somebody else has the car now, right? Read.
Unto your enemies.
Unto who?
Unto your enemies.
Who are white people? Read.
For
who are white people?
Oh, unto your enemies.
Your enemies. Read.
For bondmen.
For what?
For bondmen.
Bondmen. That's what we were. Read.
And bondwomen.
And our women were slaves. Read.
And no man shall buy you.
No one came and redeemed us. No one came and what is redeemed? You redeem people through buying, because you can literally come and buy somebody out of slavery, but nobody did that to us. Go ahead, Op.
So they're trying to say we put ourselves up for sale,
But no one
but
came.
nobody bought us.
Nobody bought us.
The oldest way of
That was
life
another
on the
breakdown
planet Earth
to,
is
selection.
the oldest two things on the planet Earth is prostitution and slavery, but nobody bought us.
Did we just wasn't good?
It's
I get-
hard working.
Hey, look, I understand them frail. See, that's why they believe it's them frail white boys that's the Jews. Because you can see, like, what the hell Rabbi Finkelstein is going to, what good work is he going to do? He's worthless. That's why he just sits in the shadows and runs the world. You see what I'm saying? Because he literally ain't no work his ass can do. And he just thinks of ways on how to kill people and extort people and touch people. That's why it's Harvey Weinstein, a Jew, then touched every girl on his casting couch. Right or wrong? Right? You had a point?
No.
So like, you had something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, I know some OT only brothers that break it down that way, and they even went into it to say in the place that we was brought to on ships, in the captivity we was brought to us on ships, we try to sell ourselves to the white man, and again we always said last hire first fire. You know what I'm saying? Can't get a job, unemployment rate in the black community is high as hell, and we go do what? We degrade ourselves, put ourselves in a suit and tie, shave our beard, to try to sell ourselves to this goddamn devil, and they still don't come.
Yeah, hey, look, yeah. We could. It could be what you want it to be, and we can still fit the bill.
Well, where did the yoke of iron come from?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
Where's the great Jewish yoke of iron?
Right.
That yoke of iron was put on
I'm saying
blacks
if
and
we didn't
Hispanics.
sell- if we didn't get
Oh
sold-
no, yeah. Why is there a yoke of iron put on us? Who took our oxen? Who was able to take our kids and sell them away, and we don't see them no more? See, that's why. See what y'all have done, what you guys hate, and you serially accuse us of doing, is something called what? What's the term, Deacon? Eisegesis as well as narcigesis. You guys eisegete Deuteronomy 28 and 68. We don't have to eisegete it, right? If we're dealing on the streets and we're trying to convey a quick point to a passersby, you may see us eisegete or isolate this and amplify this. But from 15 to 68, which is this brother, he loves to do that. This is his area of expertise. He'll have you sitting there reading the whole reading it over and over and over again,
right.
exegetically, breaking it down through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. You see that point for point, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians have felt every single one of those curses, and there is no other ethnic demographic on the earth you could demonstrate that to be true of. So why would we do anything but conclude that we are the Hebrew Israelites?
Yeah, well, I was told today by a shield squad member. Well, it was said that we preach the gospel of race, not the gospel of grace.
Well, you can't have grace without race.
The Lord said, "Go wake up the lost sheep at the house of Israel."
That's race.
So
Isn't there a chosen
that's
race?
the gospel.
Isn't there a chosen race?
I got verse 48.
There's no grace. You can't spell grace without the race, man. That's my combative to that statement, right? Go ahead.
That's my ace.
That's my ace. Yeah, that's right.
Let's jump up 20 verses. A beautiful thing. The deacon brought it out, right? This is the same enemies, right? Deuteronomy 28 and 48. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies. All right, we were going to be sold unto our enemies. Therefore, we would have to serve our enemies, right? It says, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. Is this not what happened to us in the place that we was taken to or brought to on ships, where we were sold to our enemies that we had to serve, and we have to go to them for GMO foods?
Yeah, I gotta
get dirty ass water.
I gotta get my clothes from the white store.
Dead ass.
Right?
Good point.
Because now, and here's the thing, right? If you look on the tags of a lot of these shirts, I'm gonna tell you the countries you're gonna see on them shirts. You're gonna see Honduras on that shirt. You're gonna see Mexico on that shirt, and you're gonna see Haiti on that shirt. Textiles. Guess who owns the textile manufacturing companies and who profits the most from them? White people. But they set up in Mexico. They set up in Honduras. They set up in Haiti. Who knows why?
The workforce.
Cheap labor. I could magnify my profit if I don't have to pay people federal minimum wage of America. I could pay people substantially less in all these other countries.
And they be J countries too, because what we're subject to the low wages that you're giving us, because we hungry and we thirsty and we naked. If we don't get it, we ain't gonna get no food, we don't get no drink, and we gonna get no clothes.
We'll do anything.
We have to do it.
You have in Haiti. Well, number one, everybody knows about. Because I don't want to talk too conspiratory. We want to deal with things that are that even you devils have had to acknowledge as fact. Huge UN conspiracy. UN peacekeeper troops were in Haiti doing all kind of sexual deviance with Haitian people. But what were they using in order to do it? Money, and very low amounts of money. But we're so destitute in that land, by divisively, mind you. It was deforested by the French, as well as the trickery that was utilized to put us in debt to the French for whipping their ass, which is economically crippled, and not to mention all the invasions and the United States Marine Corps coming in and literally stealing every dollar out of the Haitian National Bank in 1914. So all of these things have happened that have crippled us economically, not to mention also some of our people being corrupt. So our people are so destitute there that they sell themselves for low amounts of money. You have 8-year-old girls that literally prostitute for $2 a day. Why? Because they are serving these people in want of all things. You see what I'm saying? That's literally what other people is doing. That, right? Go ahead.
And he, real quick, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck.
It's because you're a slave. People who aren't who you haven't purchased to be in bondage to you, are not going to have a yoke of iron on their neck.
That's right.
Only a slave is getting that placed on his neck, so he cannot escape. Go ahead.
Until he have destroyed thee.
Until he have what?
Destroyed thee.
Until he has destroyed you. And that's what's happened here. Now I don't got to put a yoke of iron on your neck. I do again. They do it systemically. They do it institutionally. You see what I'm saying? You had a precept sergeant.
Real quick. Hold on. Salak. Still some more meat on that bone. Verse 49. And the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far.
From where?
From far.
A nation's coming from far.
From the end of the earth.
From the end of the earth, read.
As swift as the eagle flieth.
Uh-huh.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Hold on. What are they going to say to this? This is the Romans? Deep? That's the Romans. The nation from far is the Romans?
It's it's the when they came from whose tongue you want to understand?
Yeah, Babylon.
That's when they came from that's dealing with the Northern Kingdom when they came over here with Christopher Columbus.
No. But I'm saying, what are they going to say? We understand that. I've heard Babylon. I've heard Rome.
Well, we talked about it. They don't really address the North. They know about it.
Well, no, not even that. I'm asking they have a answer for this. They're going to say this happened with Rome in 70 AD,
Yeah.
or they're going to say this happened with Babylon.
No, only thing they can say is Rome, but there was a lingua franca, so I don't think they know that.
Which is fine. They could say it's Rome. They also have to admit that it happened with Babylon, though. Even if they said it was Rome. They also going to have to admit that this happened in Greece with the Greeks. So what does that mean? That this is continually happening.
That's right.
This happened with the Romans. This happened with the Greeks. This happened with the Babylonians.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say about the yoke of iron. Although we have so many artifacts, why can we only find that with this time?
Yeah, and this time, the yoke of iron. That's what I'm saying. And the point that we're making, not eisegeting the 68th verse and saying that it exclusively pertains to the transatlantic slave trade, but going from 15 all the way to 68 and showing that this has happened at least once, and if not a multiplicity of times to us, as we have fallen from the law, such commandments of the Most High Officer.
Deuteronomy 28, 45, 46, where it says that it'll be upon your seed
Forever. Con.
Also, somebody
Exactly, read that.
Because they're saying that Christ came to do away with all the curses of Deuteronomy 28, so we got to bring that up.
Well, we did went into that a couple weeks ago. For time's sake, we ain't gonna go into that.
Okay.
Check us from a couple weeks ago. We broke the curse of law down perfectly through the spirit of power. Y'all have no idea what you're talking about. No idea. Y'all say that Christ redeemed them for the curse of the law, but then say 70 AD is the curse of the law when that's after Christ. Go ahead, read that.
Deuteronomy.
Which Christ did for the curse of the law, but our redemption has not been seen. That's coming at the point of salvation. That's when the redemption, salvation, deliverance, all these things are synonymous. Go ahead.
Yeah, like Deacon said, they said we preach the gospel of
Race, not grace.
Not grace, right?
Another race group.
So
Another hate group, another race hate
I
group.
didn't tell you I read that.
So
Oh,
what
that's
happened
great.
is, like you said,
We ain't seen
they
that
have
cat
these
in
different
years.
Bible translations, right? Sometimes they change it, right, to benefit them, right?
Yeah.
To get a better, so their perspective.
Yeah, and sometimes it works against them.
But sometimes it works against
Yes,
them.
sir.
Here's where it works against them. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, in the ESV, the English Standard Version.
Their favorite one.
But you are a chosen race.
Wait, so hold on. The Christians are a race? Wait, the church is a race. I thought it wasn't about race. In that ESV that Vocab Malone loves so much, it says it's about race in the New Testament. Oh, that's what he said. That's why Vocab. Well, hey, James, what does it say? It says it's about race. Go ahead, read that again.
God, book of 1 Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, ESV. But you are a chosen race.
What would a Christian say? It's not about race, neither Jew nor Greek. The New Testament, in your authoritative translation, says it's about race. Read it again from the top.
But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood.
All praise Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Go ahead.
A holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you.
You can't proclaim his excellency. Only us, the chosen race.
Out of darkness into his marvelous light.
Woo.
Hey, James White, let's do this. We'll give you Deuteronomy 28:68, and you got to give us that one. You know what I mean? We can prove who we are outside of
without that.
28:68. So
I
we'll
don't
give
even
you
need
that
that
one. So we'll give you that one that it says, "Oh, you're gonna sell yourselves." All right. Counts it. But hey, 1 Peter, you're done. It's still done
In your Bible.
In your own Bible. So what do you want to do?
That's great. That's just
It's even Dre. That's fair. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, speaking of giving away, we got a new covenant, our old covenant giveaway.
yeah, and on top, and also Vocab Malone, man. Most High got a very special judgment coming from you, blasphemous demon devil. All right. Oh, and you're an adulterer. Yeah, it's funny. This dude's making a video, a parody video talking about us. Nigga, you're an adulterer. You give me in the Apocrypha an adulterer that doteth. Give me that in the Apocrypha. That's the thing that God hates. First, the Apocrypha wanted to let nigga have the JPV upside down. You want to mock us? That's fine. I'm gonna tell you who's gonna laugh. He in heaven shall laugh at you. All right, and laugh and not feel sorry when you die and your wife dies and your kids die. All right, I'm gonna tell it to you straight like that. You damn demon.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Sirach 25:2. 3 sorts of men my soul hated.
My soul hateth. Hate in the Bible is hate. Go ahead.
And I am greatly offended at their life.
You got hate? Bring it out. Let it out. I am greatly offended at your life, Vocab Malone. Read.
A poor man that is proud. A rich man that is a liar. And an old adulterer that doteth.
That's you, an old adulterer that doteth, man. According to your belief, you have committed adultery by stepping out of your marriage, according to your understanding of what adultery is. You're an adulterer, and you have nerve trying to make a parody video mocking Hebrew Israelites when you're an adulterer. Give me Hebrews. I say a sin unto death, you pray not for it. 1 John. Is adultery not a sin unto death? Vocab, shut the hell up, man. Y'all don't even understand. You got nerve, man. You got a lot of nerve, and you're an excuse, and you have poorly represented your community. All right, you adulterer. Read.
1 John 5:16. If any man see his brother sin a sin.
If any man see his brother sin a sin, let's take our race-based Hebrew Israelite lenses. Let's go back into Christianity briefly.
Sure.
You see your brother in Christ. Do what?
Sin a sin.
Sin a sin. Read.
Which is not unto death.
Which is not unto death. It's a sin, and we all sin. We all fall short. None of us are perfect. It's Christian understanding now.
That's right.
Right? Read.
He shall ask, and he shall give him life.
We forgive our brothers, and we love them, and we hug them, we hold them, and we're all in Christ, and it's all right. Go ahead.
For them that sin not unto death.
That sin not unto death. You know, it's all right. You slip. We all stumble.
That's right.
Go ahead.
There is a sin unto death.
But there is a sin unto death. Read.
I do not say that he shall pray for it.
And one of those sins unto death, unfortunately, is adultery. So for our brother Vocab, can't pray for you. We shouldn't associate with you. I mean, that's just according to the New Testament. So, sorry, brother Vocab, we're going to have to excommunicate you from our congregation.
That's right.
According to even your understanding, you're out of there, nigga. Go ahead, man. Salakia, back to the point, man. That was an interlude for that demon.
As long as you keep getting on them black guys, we'll let you stay in.
Yeah, exactly. Give the niggers hell. And then every nigga in that damn video, you better hope you repent, man. Most High got something special coming for y'all, too. And who's seen Jada Producer's new video? We may play. I'm gonna do them just like I did the they gotta lie to the people. We're gonna do it just like that in a minute, I think. Go ahead.
You want to go back
Where
to
was
that?
we at?
We was at Deuteronomy 28. But
28. Boom, I hit that. Oh, Romans, not Romans, like Revelations 11 and 8.
That's right.
We're gonna read a few verses here. Lie to the people. God, man. I can't believe these niggas got the nerve, these individuals got the nerve to think that they gonna come in battle with the Hebrew Israelite community. Every camp, every scholar, every individual like that ain't got nothing but time to sit on Facebook and argue. What the hell do y'all think? What did you guys think you was getting into? You're making a well-produced, mind you, parody video. We're not dealing with parodies. And the point of the parody was to say that the only thing Hebrew Israelites do is ad hom. But that's not the only thing that we do. Ad hom is what the argument leads to when you're being so unreasonable that you're ignoring how many times the Holy Bible cuts you. Then it turns into ad hom. Then your kids and you're gay and you're a cracker and you're a devil and all that comes out. When we try to just have a conversation with you, you're so unreasonable, you know, to a lot of brothers. I can say that we had two reasonable conversations, but I could also go and show and exemplify if I wasn't kicked out of the group for no reason. I did nothing to get kicked out of the group. I barely had posted in there, but whatever, they kicked me out. To hell with you. Don't you realize if you kick out all the heavy hitter Israelites that the group is going to be dead?
Well, yeah, they got me out.
Got this brother out, got me. Every Israelite that comes in there and it's really swinging sword is getting kicked out. And they take novice brothers that are newer to the truth and they let them in there. And then they wonder why they get hit with ad homs. Because these brothers are still in a process. They're not all the way there yet. So if they know what they know because they have been heard and they've been persuaded in their own mind. But that doesn't mean they know exactly how to mount an offensive or defensive properly at this point, at this juncture. So them brothers kind of, it may appear like they got caught out there. So then they'll resort to the ad homs. That's because they're learning the same way that you guys will criticize us from dealing the same way with Christians on the streets. But again, you can't say that this represents all Christians. It's like we can say they don't represent all Hebrews. Like this is a brother that's new to the information. You see what I'm saying? Just like we acknowledge that the average Christian that we see walking down the street is not on the level of understanding and cannot mount and establish argumentation like a Christian apologist. But both of you guys are nut jobs. Both of you guys don't know the Bible, and both of you guys are going to lose through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai anyway. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. 11, and let's also like here. We're going to start there at 8, but we're going to read. We're going to read. They scared of Revelations, right? My fault. Except 7 and 9. That's what they think is there. None of the Revelations exist except for the one that they think includes everybody, which that doesn't even work. But 7, 11, and 8, we're going to go to 12. Go ahead.
Revelation 11 and 8.
And
their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
The great city. Go ahead.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
This is the great city spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. There is no denying the parallels from Egypt that America displays and the parallels of Sodom that America displays. There's no denying it. Ask any person who's traveled to multiple countries. Ask any person. They'll tell you that homosexuality is not accepted or promoted on the level that it is in America. You know they got gay whole television networks in America. Did you know that? And on those gay television networks, they have homosexually based advertisement. Right? What does that mean? That means I don't know if Gatorade in particular has it, but certain brands have it. So imagine the Gatorade commercial that you watch. They have one for gay people. They have one for homosexuals. They have one that's Gator. You ever heard of Gator Aid? Well, we have Gatorade. So to have advertisements that are literally aimed towards them, gay cruises, gay vacations, all of that. Just like if you watch BET, sometimes you see like a black commercial. You see what I'm saying? Or you watch the Hispanic channel, you see a commercial that they have, but there'll be exactly to cater to that demographic. They have that for homos. They don't have that nowhere else in the world. But America, you got a gay channel. Go ahead.
It says, and their dead bodies shall line the street of the great city.
And they're forcing your kids to learn about it in school. This is Sodom. Right. Their bodies, their dead bodies, dead people. Read.
Which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt.
And that's this place we're in right now. This is Egypt that we would become to in ships, where they would kill our kids and oppress us and cunningly devise all forms of ways that we would self-destruct as a people. Go ahead.
We're also,
and when that don't work, they'll just say that they thought we had a gun and just shoot us down in the street. When that don't work. Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified. And
how they crucify the Lord? Because we are the body of Christ, not the Christian church. We are the body of Christ. We are the body of Yahushua, which the temple is built in the fashion of a man's body. That symbolizes the body of Christ, Yahushua, that we collectively are members and parts of. So when they crucify us, when they oppress us, when they murder us, when they rob us, they have crucified Christ. Read.
And they of the people.
And they are the people. Read.
And kindreds.
And kindreds. Read.
And tongues. And nations.
And nations. Read.
Shall see their dead bodies.
Shall see their dead. All the world. This is what Black Panther is about partially. They shall see their dead bodies. T'Challa saw your dead body. His daddy saw your dead body. Read. Along with the Asians and the rest of the Africans and the Arabs. They saw your dead body. Read.
3 days and a half.
350 years. Go ahead.
It says, and shall,
which there's precepts on that to show you prophetically how a day can symbolize 100 years, 1,000 years. Read.
And shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves.
What do you call figuratively somebody being put in a grave and buried? Being laid to rest. We're not laid to rest. We get trampled on, oppressed, enslaved from 1619 to 1969. Go ahead.
And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them.
They're rejoicing. They're building their empires. They're living their lives. They're setting up trade and they're doing what they got to do. All the nations of the world. While in the hells of North, Central, and South America, blacks and indigenous are enslaved, oppressed, raped, robbed, and murdered and spoiled. And nobody does anything. Read.
And make merry.
And make merry. Read.
And shall send gifts one to another.
Go ahead.
Because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
Which symbolizes, of course, there's always two prominent witnesses or prophets on the scene, which later represents the kingdoms and the people and the prophets of Christ and the Most High, right? We torment everybody. You know why? Because the Most High sends us into your country to tell you that you're getting ready to go down. That guess what? There's wars and there's rumors of wars and evil and pestilence coming to your country. They hate hearing that. They hate it when we come through and tell them they're so evil that God is going to bring that empire down. So when they stifled us through putting us in slavery, all the world rejoiced. That's why no one came and got you. Go ahead.
Even our own people killed us for.
That's true. Prophesying against them. Yeah, that's right. That's a fact. And all this world, T'Challa and his daddy. That's what people don't understand with Black Panther. That's what Black Panther is about. He said, damn, we just left. T'Challa, Black Panther, sitting there like, damn, we did just leave him here. These guys are monsters that we created. That's what he said. He is a monster of our creation. Yes, he is. Because you sold us to the white man and left us over here and didn't do a damn thing at all. Never threw us a bone. When Black people repatriated back to Africa, we created Liberia. Africans didn't create it. Now they live there and they're oppressive to what they call American Liberians, right? Because they didn't ever give a damn about you because we're not the same people. Go ahead.
It says,
they're the same people that we read about in the Egypt of old. Sure. And other people, the Canaanites and the Philistines and other peoples that we have anciently had rivalries with prior to the rise of the white man. Go ahead.
We got one of this dead.
that wanted us dead. Go ahead.
And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet.
They rose up on their feet. Go ahead.
And great fear.
After 3 days and a half, 350 years, that's 1619 to 1969. What was founded in 1969? The original Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, 1 West 125th Street. That's when we began to stand up, starting with Abba Bivens. That's when we began to stand up on our feet through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Read.
And great fear fell upon them.
And everybody got scared. That's why it's such a fearful thing to see us Negroes and Latinos standing on these corners. They mock what we wear. They're afraid of us when they see us. How many times, everybody in this room that have been to camp, how many times somebody came to camp and said, "You scared? With the security come, y'all are scaring people. People are afraid. The police come. We're getting calls all day because people are simply afraid that you're just on the corner, speaking loud." Right? Something that crazy homeless people do all the time.
Right.
Nobody calls the cops on them until they start doing some form of vandalism or loitering on prominent business.
You remember when Nathan and Sandra used to go up to a city, they used to be scared.
They say, are you coming for peace? Are you why are you here? Are you here for peace? They thought Samuel was going to just put a sword and just start killing everybody. That's how they looked at him. He's just coming through. We just go to the street corners. We're not trying to harm nobody. We just want to talk. If you don't like what we're saying, keep walking. But no, we're frightened. We're startling when we rose up on our feet and did something that through the spirit Abba Bivens pounded into the minds of all the brothers that come from the what the Christian refer to the one West vein, or that was a one Wester. That the principal thing is to go to street corners and teach the lost sheep of the house of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, their nationality, to come back to their law, statute, commandments, and have faith in their Messiah, who they ignorantly call Christ Yahushua, who looks just like them. They pounded that into our brains, and this is why all the quote-unquote one Westers, we do it, but it's, of course, it's biblical. He read it in the Bible, understood it, and he went out to the streets by himself and was murdered by going out to the streets. Like so many other great prophets in the Bible were murdered doing the work. Let's think about SICARRI. You see? Go ahead.
Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, "Come up hither." And they
Where we at?
Verse 12.
That's all I do. So
I think you wanted me to read 12.
Do I want you to read 12? Yeah. Go ahead. Read 12. Start at the top. Salaki.
Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them.
That's called salvation. That's when Yahushua returns, who you call Christ. We're going to hear a great voice from heaven say what?
Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
That's us being delivered by the chariots of Israel. Read on. That in Revelations 1, it says Christ is coming on a cloud, which I see him coming with clouds. Revelations 1 and 7. Go ahead.
And their enemies beheld them.
And all you white, James White, you're going to see it if you make it to this point. Your son and vocab and all these devils, and some of you niggas too. You 2/3 that ain't gonna repent, you coons. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see the elect and their families get beamed up. And you're gonna be sitting there puzzled, pursuant to Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. You understand what I'm saying? Give me Wisdom of Solomon 5, matter of fact. We're gonna go into that in the spirit.
This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, starting from the top. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness.
In what?
Great boldness.
Great boldness. Read.
Before the face of such as have afflicted him.
All of you so-called white folks and all you other nations, man. Answer 2/3, trying to put affliction on your people. They're standing up for you. They're not the only people that care about you. Read.
It says, before the face of such as have afflicted him.
As have afflicted them, read on.
And made no account of his labors.
Made no account. Why do you guys want reparations? Made no account of his labors. Read. This is why you hate the Apocrypha. Go ahead.
When they see it.
When you see it. If you lucky enough to make it there. And if you lucky enough to make it there, you really ain't lucky because you're going to feel ICBM missile fire.
That's right.
And that's what I really hope for you. You got some brothers, they praying that James White, vocab Malone, die today, die tomorrow. I want you to feel the missile fire to get your true judgment and to wake up a baby with a damn yoke of iron around your neck. Why do I want that for you? Because it's in the Bible. And that's what God has promised the Israelites. So that's what you deserve, you devil. Read.
When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear.
With terrible fear. You're going to look at blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, niggas and spics, get delivered by who the world calls Christ. And you won't. But you claim to be a Christological expert. You're a doctor in theology, and you don't know a goddamn thing. Read.
It
You
says,
take the Lord's name in vain. Go ahead.
and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation.
You're going to be amazed. You're going to say, damn, those niggers and spics, they were the Israelites. What in the hell was I thinking? Here I thought that they didn't know anything. And here I am, a doctor in theology, educated white man, well-off white man. What was I thinking? It was these niggers the whole time. Go ahead.
So far beyond all that they looked for.
It's totally what we're saying. This is why we're being met with the level of opposition that we're being met with, because what we're saying is ludicrous. That's why when you see the clip where he's talking about Paul being a Jamaican, he's in hysterics. Like that's an asinine notion, right? Which of course he didn't come from Jamaica in the Bible, but now, of course, as I explained earlier, modern day, the tribe of Benjamin is in those islands.
What are you saying? Is there no righteous people in Jamaica?
Well, no, I mean, what he's saying is, how can a Drew of Tarshish be Jamaican? That's all he's saying, which is true, but you're not understanding the point.
No, also too, not like all Jamaicans are in Jamaica.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's plenty of Jamaicans in Europe right now. They're probably one of the principal demographics of black people in Europe are Jamaicans, which of course he wouldn't know, but devil. But it's going to be so far out of the realm of his understanding. I mean, it's ludicrous. What we're saying that we're the Israelites, this is literally the most asinine suggestion to some people, especially these people. Hosea 1. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Verse 3. And they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit.
Now it's going to hit them that we were right. So the spirit is going to be anguished. Read.
Shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in derision.
This is he who we had in derision. Read.
And a proverb of reproach.
They mock us. Literally, if you watch that clip that Coon Dub recently put out, James White is literally mocking Hebrew Israelism, as they've come to call it. Read.
It says,
mocking us, meaning that we reading the Bible and we go to more Bible verses, we know more Bible verses, we're familiar with pretty much anybody on the planet, but we just have no idea what we're reading. Apparently. Go ahead.
We fools accounting his life madness.
They account our lives madness. Read. This is how we know we're on that right path, through the spirit and power of Yahweh. Because when we're reading the Bible over and over, we're clearly seeing that we're in the right spirit and they are not. Exactly what we're saying and doing is documented verbatim in the Bible. Nothing that they do is. Right? Read. Them niggas celebrate Christmas. Read.
And his end to be without honor.
They thought we were just going to die like every other nigger and spick before us. Go ahead. And not see salvation because we hate white people who we should hate. Go ahead.
How is he numbered among the children of God?
How are we the elect? The church, the Christian church is the elect. No, the nigger and the spick and the salmon slapper, the prairie nigger, as you have so endearingly called the native Indian man. That's the child of God. Read.
And his lot is among the saints.
We're the saints of God. They look at us like, no, it's the church. Mind you, the church, which is predominantly white. Understand white supremacy subtly exists. When they say the church is the saints, the church that's dominated by white people, the church that's majority populated by white people, what they're saying is white people are holy and white supremacy. And we'll teach you niggers to be holy too, but we will always be at the helm of this. Who does K-Dub worship? Deacon? James White. James White is an idol of this nigga K-Dub. Mind you, James White is Reformed Baptist and K-Dub is Reformed Presbyterian. So he's
Protestant,
not.
I'm sorry, I got it wrong.
He's Protestant?
He's Reformed Protestant.
Who? K-Dub?
Yeah.
I think he told me he was Presbyterian.
He told me that's the main thing from the rap. He said, I lied. He's not a Presbyterian.
Oh, he's a reformed Protestant. All right. Well, like there's a huge goddamn difference.
It's still going back to Luther, who wanted to exterminate Jews.
Yeah, it's all Luther. It all goes back to Martin Luther. Either way, you have a Baptist in James White and a Protestant in K-Dub. Technically, different denominations. Yet, the way the average Negro looks at Michael Jordan, that's how he look at James White. Like, if James White has some shoes, nigga. If he has some loafers, if James White has some James White loafers, this nigga would have every number. Right? Because he looks at him as holy. And he wants to be holy, so he got to follow him. Right? Go ahead. That's subtle white supremacy. Go ahead.
That's right. It says his end to be without honor. How was he numbered among the children of God?
Read.
And his lot is among the saints. Therefore have we erred from the way of truth.
We have erred from the way of truth. They're going to recognize. We're trying to get vocab, and you're trying to get James White, Joshua White to understand that we're the Israelites, and we know what we're talking about. We got to keep the law, statutes, commandments, like all of that. And Yahweh Shai Christ only died for Black, Hispanic, Native Indian people, Israelites. We expect them to understand that. They're not going to understand it until they see you get delivered up in the clouds of heaven in chariots by Christ and the angels, and while they sit there. At that moment, they're going to understand that we, the whole time, were the authorities in the Bible, and not a moment sooner. Go ahead.
Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness have not shone unto us.
They're going to understand that they were never enlightened, that they were never truly Christian, and they never knew the truth. That we knew it, and we had it the whole time through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. This will not dawn on them until they see you get delivered while they stay and await missile fire. Then they'll get it. Then they'll understand Deuteronomy 28 and 68. They'll understand all the breakdowns at that point, because they'll realize that anything we said, that was the truth. And they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. And at that moment is when I suggest they do my thermonuclear survival tactic, which is bending over and kissing your ass goodbye.
Right.
And go ahead.
You too can survive, Marky.
You too can survive. Go ahead.
And the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. We worried ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea.
By studying, because studying is weariness, right?
That's right.
You studied a doctrine that was the way of wickedness and destruction that you call Christianity, that you call Reformed theology. Go ahead.
It says, yea, we have gone through the deserts where they lay no way. But as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it.
You're going to understand when you see niggas and spics and Native Indians being beamed up, and you sitting your ass put and you ain't being saved, you're going to see that you never knew the way of God. You never knew the way of truth. All right, go ahead.
And the Lord didn't know you either.
Ever. Right? There's more on that.
We have gone through deserts where there lay no way, but as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it. What have pride profited us, or what good hath riches with our vaunting brought us? All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by, and as a ship that passeth over the waves of the water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the pathway of the Nile in the waves.
It's over. It's all that you have is going to be meaningless at that point. You just bend over and kiss your ass goodbye. Sarge, you got Hosea 1. Start with about 10 in the land where it said, "You are not my people." Go ahead.
Book of Hosea, chapter 1, verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
That's right. That's why you're trying to control our population. Read.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Go ahead.
It shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
You're said, this is what they said. This is what they're telling us. They have launched this attack against us, quote unquote Christian apologists, to literally tell us that we are not the people. We've been told that we were everything but the people. We've been called everything but a child of God. Go ahead.
Ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them.
Then at that place, by niggas and spicks on the street corner, read.
Ye are the sons of the living power.
We are the sons of God. We are the Israelites. Only the people who have been alienated from that and been told they're everything but that can actually qualify as that pursuant to prophecy if you believe in the Bible, which you guys allege to do. This is just the proof positive through the spirit and power of Yahweh, whom we are, which are the Israelites. Who else fits all of this? You mean to tell me you're going to sit here and watch this whole video and say, this nigga's crazy? If you truly believe that, just this book, don't throw that away. This literally must not have any truth in it if it's not clear that we're the people of it. Clearly, right? That's it on that?
Gone.
All right, so we're going to open the floor for questions. All praise Yahweh.
Who got the YouTube?
He got it right here.
I got
Sorry,
it. I
guys.
got it. Questions. Questions, anyone?
I got a question. What's the difference between an ape and a gorilla?
Nothing. A gorilla is an ape. An ape is like a it's like the phyla. Then you have different types of apes.
It says, how do we know Benjamin went to the West Indies?
Well, pursuant to prophecy. Let's go to Genesis 49. Well, first let's start with actually Revelation 7. Get Genesis 49, get Deuteronomy 33, and you just get Revelation 7. And let's start at 4.
Revelation chapter 7, verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000.
So this is about the 144,000, the elect, the governing body of the nation of Israel. What the Bible is getting ready to do is give you a geographical sequence of the geographical locations that these people would be in, okay, after they're sealed and delivered. All right, so go ahead.
It says, of all the tribes of the children of Israel, of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000.
Whereas Judah in America, so-called African Americans, the chief of the nation of Israel. Read.
Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000.
Seminole Indians that dwell in the southeast section, Florida and parts of Georgia. Right? Read.
Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000.
The rest of the United States of America into Canada is the possession of Gad. All right. So what we have there is all the 3 North American tribes named geographically. Read.
Of the tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000.
Now we've gone to South America. That's Colombia to Uruguay. Read.
Of the tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000.
Naphtali, that's Argentina and Chile. You deal with the Mapuche people. With Asher, you deal with the Inca people and certain other peoples that pre-exist the colonial names and terminologies that were placed on those land masses. Right. So we've done South America again, Colombia to Uruguay, then Argentina and Chile. That sums up South America. So we've covered North America and South America. Now it's going to geographically sequence the tribes that are located in Latin America or Central America and the islands, which are technically considered Central America or American islands. It's still a part of the Americas. Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000.
Manasseh, the so-called Cubans. You have an island called Cuba. Read.
Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000.
Simeon, right? So prior to the introduction of the transatlantic slave trade, you had an island that was called Haiti. That was the name of the whole island, right? Now that's just the western a third of the island. The whole island was called Haiti. It was next to an island called Cuba, all right, or a word that was similar to Cuba that was kind of transliterated into Spanish from the original Arawak. These islands are right next to each other. You could swim from one to the other. It's so easy to swim to it that the highest population of people in Cuba outside of Cubans is Haitians because of how close Haiti is to Cuba, right? Read.
Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000.
Levi, chiefly the so-called Haitian man, positioned at the western third of that island that was greater or earlier called all of Haiti, now called Hispaniola, that holds the Dominican Republic and Haiti. Go ahead.
Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000.
We're going to Mexico. So-called Mexican man. Read.
Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000.
Which is right under Issachar, which is Colombia to Panama. Now, mind you, this geographical sequence that we're reading, when REI, who we all know is accredited with breaking down the 12 tribes, first, of course, Alba Bivens had the understanding, got the understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, that blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are the Israelites. He understood that, but he couldn't pinpoint tribes. That understanding was given through the spirit by study to Ariah. Ariah never brought out Revelation 7 as a geographical sequence to further cement the understanding and breakdown of the tribes. The earliest, pursuant to the elders, the earliest that we're at One West, that this notion was brought forth is 1999. That's the earliest anybody brought this out. The brother got the paper, wrote a 15-page paper on it, right? But this was never something that was furthered by anybody. You won't see a lot of videos about this from any major groups, right? So in the spirit, just reading over it one day, it dawned on me that this was a geographical sequence. So we began to bring it out. Then later, one of the elders, Elder Bunyamin from House of David, told me about a brother writing a 15-page paper on it in 1999. So this is not anything that's further, that was ever boosted in it. You're not going to see people always going into this. We're not saying this to say that we're great. What we're doing is saying this to say that the 12 tribe breakdown is foolproof. And it's foolproof because of things like this that are in the last book of the Bible that are there to put the nail in the coffin for it being the truth. It's there. And it was something that people have constantly looked over, but coincides to be an additional, very substantial witness to the validity and the accuracy of the 12 tribes breakdown. Go ahead. You had something, Bazak?
You meant to say Guatemala to Panama.
Guatemala to Panama. I didn't say Guatemala to Panama.
Colombia to Panama.
Colombia, Salakia. Guatemala to Panama. Go ahead. Which is the land of the Mayans. You have the Aztecs, and you had a Mayan empire. Read.
Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000.
That's the Puerto Rican man. That's on the Isle of Puerto Rico. Read.
Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000.
Benjamin, which you have Puerto Rico sitting in the middle of the island. It's in the middle of the water. Then you have all these other islands. You have the Bahamas. You have Jamaica. You have Barbados. You have Trinidad. You have all these islands around there. That's where Benjamin is brought to. You said what?
West Indies.
The so-called West Indies, or what's also called the Lesser Antilles. All right, that's where Benjamin is at. So it gave you a geographical sequence, pairing and taking these tribes that were closest to each other and showing you that's where they're at. You will never see, ever in the whole Bible, the 12 tribes of Israel listed in that order. What does that let us know? That it was listed in that order for a reason, to tell us something specific. Where these people would be geographically, predominantly in the Americas, which is the main place of our captivity. All right. So now Genesis 49 on Benjamin.
Come, Book of Genesis, chapter 49, verse 27. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf.
Shall what?
Raven as a wolf.
That's their songs, reggae, dance hall. They have a very unique type of sound. That's how they raven as a wolf. Because what does a wolf do? He howls at that moon. Also, being ravenous, that's the dance hall culture. People see video memes and make jokes about how these guys jumping off the top rope in the damn club. That's them being ravenous as wolves, man. Read.
In the morning, he shall devour the prey.
In the morning, he shall devour the prey. Read.
And at night, he shall divide the spoils.
At night, he shall divide the spoils, man. Y'all better watch some documentaries on the shower posse and things like that down there in Jamaica, in various yardies. You see how they devour the prey in the morning and divide the spoil at night, right? You doing all kind of stick-ups down there on the island, man. They would do, then they still do it, and it's not a small thing. Not just they steal. We're talking about on a heavy level. Read.
I think that's it on that.
And then get Deuteronomy 33. If that wasn't on that, get Deuteronomy 33.
Also, too, you got the Yardies, I think, over there in Europe, right?
Well, yeah, the Yardies is from Jamaica. They go over there to Europe. Which the term Yardie just means you're from Jamaica, or you from one of the islands. That's when they say a yard. I got to go back a yard. I mean, I have to go back to the island that I come from. I have to leave out foreign and go back a yard, right? Foreign is a foreign land. You see. So they say a yardie. I'm a yardie. I'm a yard man, meaning I'm from. I live here, but I'm from here. I'm from somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? I'm from Jamaica. I'm from. You said what? I got to go to the gates. Where they get talking about the yard. That's home, your yard. You know. That's what I remember when we was out there in New York. Garfield, the Jamaican girl came up, and she said she's Jamaican. What part of the yard are you from? She said, "Me from out there. Where they go out that coffee. You see what I'm saying? They They got to check. Oh, you from? All right, we got to see where. You see what I'm saying? They're very serious about that. The yardies, but they go around Europe and all different places. They rob. They do what they got to do. That's they in their spirit, according to the Bible. Go ahead.
Con, Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33, verse 12. And of Benjamin.
And of Benjamin, read.
He said.
He said what?
The beloved of Yahweh shall dwell in safety.
In safety. Him. What does that mean? Why don't you take a look at the Caribbean? The Caribbean is always getting just punished with hurricanes. But the damage and the fatalities on the West Indian Islands that contain the tribe of Benjamin, always low. Those West Indian Islands are the prime spots for vacation travel in the world. They wouldn't go there if it wasn't safe for them. People wouldn't vacation there if it wasn't safe. Officer.
I mean, just look at Hurricane Andrew, Category 5. You know what I'm saying? Just the simple fact that you're surrounded by water and you're not destroyed. You understand?
Listen, Puerto Rico got destroyed. Haiti got destroyed. Dominican Republic gets destroyed. But for some reason, all those other islands, Jamaica, they don't get destroyed because Benjamin is dwelling in safety there. Levi ain't dwelling in safety. Simeon, Ephraim, Manasseh ain't dwelling in safety. Benjamin is. That lets you know right there in the spirit. Go ahead.
Could also relate to kind of how Benjamin being the little brother. You know,
yeah, the reason why he's dwelling in safety, because he is the little brother. That's the reason he's got that blessing. Most High is looking out for him for that reason. He is the youngest of the tribes, right? So go ahead.
God, the beloved of Yahweh shall dwell in safety by him, and Yahweh shall cover him all the day long.
The Most High has covered him. That's why mysteriously, remember, you got Antigua and Barbuda, right? That's one country, but they're two different islands. The hurricane tore through Barbuda. No one even died. No one even died. Because Barbuda is very sparsely populated. It's only got about 1,100 people that live on that island. The majority of people in that country live on Antigua. Antigua was untouched by that hurricane when it came through. It came to America and wreaked havoc. But it passed over the West Indian Islands and didn't do anything to where the tribe of Benjamin lay, because he's covered by Yahweh. The rest of the tribe, we not covered in to that aspect like Benjamin is. That's why when a natural disaster strikes, they're okay. Go ahead. Or Salakia, go ahead.
Yeah. The effects of Hurricane Andrew in the Bahamas included 3 direct fatalities.
3 people. It comes up here killing hundreds, dozens, at least 10 people, 20, 30 people, 3 people. This got 700 islands and keys.
God.
Only killed 3 people. And who knows, that them people might have been on their way out, might have just died and they ain't had nothing to do with it. You see what I'm saying? That's how we know who the tribe of Benjamin is, man. Go ahead.
And Yahweh shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders.
And he shall dwell between his shoulders. Go ahead.
Then it goes into Joseph.
What I said on that. This is how we know who Benjamin is. Next question.
Cesar, I really don't understand your question. You're gonna have to rephrase it, or make it a lot more understanding. It says, what's a good email to catch us at?
Exodus1715@gmail.com without the E. Or go to our website, link in the description, Exodus1715.org. Go to the website, link in the description. There's a contact form on the bottom of every single page on the website. You can reach us there. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyone tell me more about Abba Bivens, or is there a book about him?
Definitely not a book about him. I'm sure Vocab Malone will have one on the shelf soon. Officer.
I got a question. 2nd Ezra 7. I want to say 24 to 31.
Deacon.
We got the breakdown on that. That's the Christ coming within 400 years of Ezra.
Oh, yeah.
All men dying are the disciples that died with Christ.
So I'm saying where it says for my son Jesus.
Yahushua.
Yahushua.
Said, my son Jesus will be revealed within 400 years.
And then then it says, shall my son Christ die?
Right.
It's Yahushua.
Yeah. Who told you it wasn't?
Somebody told me it was.
You just making sure?
I was reading because I was debating Esau.
Oh, Esau, yeah, Old
I was
Testament.
like, all right, I'm looking, through the scripture.
Yeah, well, that's where, see, because they'll say that, where is Jesus at in the Old Testament? If they accept the Apocrypha, they out, because it literally says it verbatim, Jesus. He believed that, which I remember he said that last time when we talked to him. Yeah, he was drunk though. We cut his ass on it. He was out of his mind, drunk. But yeah, that's it. They're out when you do that.
I was thinking, I was like, damn. I was like, I know they did a breakdown on Yahushua's name
In the Old Testament.
I went to the Apocrypha and I just skimmed through a little bit.
Found it.
The 7th chapter. I said,
there we go. And that shows you, because everybody knows Ezra was circa 400. You see what I'm saying? So then within 400 years, then that's the birth of Yahushua approximately. You see what I'm saying? So that coincides perfectly. Yeah. He dropped the ball on that one.
So y'all brothers believe that Abba Bivens is Elijah?
Personally, yeah. But yeah, you ain't got to believe that. I do. And only because of Elijah. Matter of fact, give me Malachi 4, Sarge. Malachi 4. Now you ain't got to believe it, and maybe he's not. But do I believe it? Yes, I do.
Hey, I could be wrong.
I could be wrong. I ain't gonna make nobody swear an oath to it, But regeneration, or that's something that we believe in. So we know that the prophets are coming back. That's in the Bible. Go ahead.
Book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh.
You see that? So we know Elijah was going to return to the planet Earth and preach. That's according to prophecy. So somebody had to be Elijah. Who would I say fits that description of Elijah? Abba Bivens. Read.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children.
Because he left being a black Jew in black Judaism, brought the New Testament in, and the acceptance of Yahushua, brought in not just the southern tribes, but brought in the natives and Latinos. So that work that he did, that's what's causing, and what he substantiated, one West that everybody hates. That's what is bringing the Israelites back, is that work. So yes, I believe he's Elijah. Go ahead.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers.
Read.
Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
You see what I'm saying? So before that great and dreadful day, we knew Elijah was coming. So do I believe that's him? Yes. Could I be mistaken? Yes. Do you have to believe that? No. Right? What else we got?
How can all natives be Gad when tribes in the U.S. and Canada, paternal and maternal haplogroups genetically matches Asians? So are Asians Israelites too?
Their haplogroups. Can you break down to me haplogroup science? Can you do it? And also, do you also understand that Israelites are classified by these same haplogroups as an Afro-Asiatic? So you would see similarities in both if the haplogroup science is true. So that, of course, doesn't disqualify anybody, because the Nile to the Euphrates is partially Africa, partially Asia. You see what I'm saying? But we're not Asian. So the question is, where is their line go back to? And does the scientists that have conducted this research have sufficient samples from ancient Israel to be able to substantiate whether or not somebody's patrilineal line goes back there? No, they don't.
They don't even have sufficient enough samples from all of the tribal groups. Remember, that's why it's mostly genetic markers used for natives.
Yeah,
the most limited.
Yeah, it's the most limited tribal groups for Native Americans out of all people. So that if you want to trust in that science, go right ahead. We'll see where that gets you. But go ahead.
I think the brother's asking how are, according to Luke 10, how are there 72 disciples?
How were there 72 disciples?
Yeah.
Because there were 7 sets of 12, brother. A complete sets of 12. But only the 12 stayed with Yahushua.
It says, can you guys explain Matthew 18 and 18?
Get it, somebody. The water.
Look at Matthew verse 18. Verily I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall bind on the earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever ye shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven.
Deacon.
Okay, that's talking about the power that he gave the disciples. So whatever they prayed for upon high, it was manifested on earth, and vice versa. That's why he said, I give you power to even forgive sins if you want to, or not to.
That's right.
That's what that's talking about. The church will tell you that any regular pork chop eating pedophile has that power today. That's not true.
That's right. Then and where do we see that exemplified? When they was healing people and whatnot. When they had that power, because we know that people were getting these types of ailments because of sin. That's in the Bible. Right. So he would, by quote unquote forgiving, like they were being forgiven. You see. So that's what that's dealing with. What else we got?
Why is Matthew's genealogy missing some people?
I believe this brother came on a comic board and asked this question. Because when you deal with these genealogies, and you'll see this even in certain instances in the Old Testament, sometimes people are divisively left out of genealogies because of shame that were brought upon their name.
Status. You also
and also status.
Last Saturday that there's no word for grandson.
Yeah, so, and also there's no word for grandson. Yeah, certain prominent people will be like, for example, you have, because when you get, it would be prideful for me to, if the generations prior to you were in the truth, right? And you want to, your family is getting fame, but you're bringing the fame to your family, not your dad, not your grandfather, right? You'd be a prideful nigga to call this dynasty or what you're doing after your name. And what proves that is the Maccabees. The Maccabees didn't even call themselves Maccabees. That was a term applied to them later, because only Judah Maccabee was called Maccabee because he brought the hammer down, because that's what Maccabee means, the hammer. He brought the hammer down on the Greek, on the white man, the devil. But they call, starting with Matthias, they called their dynasty in their house the Hasmoneans. Though the fame was got to their house by Matthias and then later his sons, Judas, Simon, etc., they called it the Hasmonean house, which was a reference to either Matthias's grandfather or great-grandfather. You see what I'm saying? So that all had to do with status. You see what I'm saying? So they paid homage to their grandfather, and that was the principal person of their house and their lineage. So that's who everybody would reference. You see what I'm saying? Like if you go to a, if you got a cousin from New York and you from California, but y'all granddaddy came from Alabama, when y'all go back to Alabama, the name that you're going to utilize to identify with people is your grandfather's name. So you've skipped over your father. I'm such and such's grandson. But again, like the brother pointed out, ain't no grandson, word for grandson in the Hebrew. It's just bond. It's just son. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to say, I'm the son of such and such. I'm the son of this man who was prominent in this town, and he brought this town his first barbershop. You see what I'm saying? And he had that big old farm, and we was doing these crops. That's what you know my family for, even though that's not my direct father. That's my grandfather. I'm his descendant. So that's what people would do. So that's what you see in genealogies all over the Bible. All right. What else we got?
Will 2/3 stay in eternal damnation?
No, they will not. But they'll wake up in shame. They'll be shameful of the fact that they live life evil when they are reborn. Go ahead.
How do we know the Hebrew we speak is the same Hebrew our ancestors in the scripture spoke?
That's a great question. Number one comes from study. What you first would have to understand is the current Hebrew that's being spoke by the so-called Jew is a lexified Slavic. Okay, so what does that mean? It's a lexified Slavic. It's Slavic terminology being applied to an Assyrian Hebrew lettering system. That's lexified Slavic. That's what they're speaking. So in understanding that, you understand and can disqualify easily their form of Hebrew. That's number one. Number two, what we then have to do to get a better understanding of what ancient Hebrew sounded like, you have to study the languages that are most closely related to it, that were of the same branch. So when you deal with the languages that were of the same branch, you have the Amharic, which is spoken by people of Ethiopia. You have the Aramaic, right, or Syriac or Syrian language, and you have the Arabic language. Those are the languages most closest related to ancient Hebrew, or the Hebrew that was spoken by our ancestors going all the way back to Moses, right? So when you study those languages and you study all other languages that come from the earliest points in history and time. And one another language that you could kind of factor in is Sanskrit, which was spoken in India by the people of India. What you'll discover is either a lack of, or in certain instances, a total absence of vowels. You'll see that, a lack of or a absence of them. And this is what study of this is what led to the conclusion that we didn't deal with a large amount of vowels, right? You could say an ah is a vowel, and an I, and even a ya can be a vowel, okay, or what they would call the aleph and the ayin and the yod, okay, characters. So those can be used as vowels, but overall, the Hebrew language lacks, or the Paleo-Hebrew lacks vowels. And then there was later a vowel point system added in by the Masoretes, who we know were white people, converts, starting with Kagan Bullen from the Khazarian Empire. So we understand that they didn't have an understanding of this. So because they didn't have an understanding of this, they had to make it to where it could work. So put their language into it. So again, when we study the languages of the people of color that were related to us, we see either, again, a disparity, a lack of, or an absence of vowels within their languages. So that's what's led to the conclusion that there was no vowels in our language. So that's how we know, or we have a strong conviction that we're speaking the correct form of Hebrew.
It says, can I get some edification on the Greek son Timotheus in Acts 16? There's no confusion that only Israel was chosen. I'm just trying to understand his role or perspective.
Timothy.
You mean Timothy?
Timothy.
Yeah, Timothy's father was a brother who went to Greece and became enthralled in a part of Greek society, became a Greek in his way of life. He himself, of course, was not of the stock of the Greeks. The white man ain't even of the stock of the Greeks. That's not what that's. It's just the brother went to Greece and became a Greek. That's all.
When will Leviathan or Behemoth come out?
Well, I don't know. Next question.
And ready.
Well, it depends on what Hebrew word is dealing with. And in the context of the way the word is used, i.e., in Genesis 25, you see red all over like a hairy garment. So we have context to the shade of red, because we know there's over 50 shades of red, but the Hebrew language only has one word for red. So how do we know which shade of red is being referenced in any specific instance? We have to take a look at the context. So when we take a look at the context of Genesis 25, when it says red all over like a hairy garment, we have to understand the hairy garments that existed in that time. The first hairy garment that we see in the Torah mentioned is the ramskin dyed red that was used as the covering of the tent of the tabernacle. So when you look up how the ramskin was dyed, you understand that it was dyed through the methodology of the kermes dye. The kermes dye was created from the blood of worms that lived on certain trees on the coast of the Mediterranean. Y'all could all study this history through the spirit. So literally blood was used to dye ramskin red. So we understand that the hairy garment that was red all over like a hairy garment is in reference to blood red, which is what white babies look like when they come out the womb, which leads us to understand that that's the red that's being referenced there. So when we take a look at different contexts, when red already appears, we just have to look at the context, and that's how we differentiate which shade of red is there and the difference between them. All right, but go ahead.
Who's the elders of Revelation 5 and 8?
What you mean, the 24 elders? Those are creations in heaven, brother. We deal with what's on earth.
Can you break down Titus 3 and 9?
Go ahead, get it.
Get it, Sarge.
Come on. Book of Titus, chapter 3, verse 9. But avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law.
Avoid foolish questions when people ask foolish things, genealogies, these great mysterious genealogies that say this person is that person, right? That's why I just said, even with the whole Abba Bivens thing, do I have a compelling reason that I believe that he is Elijah? Yes, but I'm not going to strive with you about whether or not he's Elijah, because I can't give you indefinite 1000% proof of it, but I do believe it, right? Go ahead. So I'm not going to strive with you about it. Go ahead.
God. And contentions and strivings about the law.
Go ahead. Contentions, because people will come here and play a game, right? Like you have these idiot Christians that say, you guys aren't wearing 100% clothes. And we say, yes, we are. And they say, well, is the thread 100%? That's a striving about the law that's unprofitable and vain. Because number one, how am I even supposed to know that?
Well, the thread is 100%.
There you go.
It is 100%. Yes.
Yeah, how about that? Can you prove it? It's not? That stuff is unprofitable. You see what I'm saying? That's what it's dealing with. Go ahead.
That's it.
No, what was the last part?
For they are unprofitable and vain.
There you go. Right. So next question.
The 72 disciples, were they following the Mosaic law? Because it says they were told to eat whatever was given to them.
Okay, where are they told that? Reference.
That's right. Did OJ do it?
No, OJ is 1,000% innocent. Check my podcast on SICARRI Street Saga, episode 5. Did OJ confess? Check that out. No, OJ. After watching this last special, if you believe OJ did it, you're out of your damn mind.
Hey, because I am OJ Simpson.
Yes, I am OJ Simpson.
I am OJ
Simpson.
That's right.
All right, that's it. I'm a loving father. All right, that's what I am.
They also keep that. Who's still out there?
The killer is still out there. That's what you people don't understand. The uproar should be that there is a murderer, a gruesome, grisly murderer of 2 people that's still on the loose. It's so crazy because OJ beat it, and then nobody cared about finding the killer after that. Who are you guys going to pin this on? No further investigation is launched to bring the murderer to justice? That's how bad you just wanted this black man to fry? The evidence, if the evidence was there, he would have got convicted. You mean to tell me that Johnny Cochran's punchlines and bars got him off? No. What got him off was the evidence was not there, man. Watch the specials, man.
This is from Minna Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, Akiem.
Shalom.
Will King David get raised up in the last days? You want me to bust him?
Go ahead, bring it up.
Give me Isaiah 9:67. My main man is from Minna Valley. I'm gonna tell you something. Of course, King David is gonna be raised up, but he's not gonna sit on the throne. All right.
That's true.
You know,
he ain't gonna sit on the Davidic throne. He's gonna sit on the throne with the rest of the elect's thrones.
Yeah, he's gonna sit on the 144,000 throne. All right. Well, he may be one of the 12.
Yeah, who could be sitting on one of the 12 thrones?
He could be sitting on one of the 12 thrones, but he ain't sitting on the main throne. It's not gonna be which GMS used to teach. It's Christ, David,
then 12, then
144. All right.
That ain't it.
So give me Isaiah 9.
You want to start at 6?
6,
7.
God. Book of Isaiah, chapter 9, verse 6. For unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given.
Same guy. Go ahead.
And the government shall be upon his shoulder.
The government, who's this talking about? Christ. Go ahead.
And the government shall be upon his shoulder.
The government shall be upon his shoulders. Read.
And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
Go ahead.
Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end.
So of his kingdom, there shall be no end. This has to be talking about an eternal kingdom. Go ahead.
Upon the throne of David.
Upon the who?
Throne of David.
So David's getting his throne took from him. Go ahead.
And upon his kingdom. To order it and to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever.
Get Samuel.
Oh yes, Samuel.
First Samuel, is that First Samuel or Second Samuel?
First Samuel 7 and 12.
7 and 12.
Come on, read that one more time. Verse 7 from the top.
Come on. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end.
So his kingdom is going to be an everlasting kingdom. Whose throne is he going to sit on?
Upon the throne of David.
Okay, go ahead.
And upon his kingdom to order it, to establish it with judgment and with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of Yahweh, power of hosts, will perform this.
That's right. So Yahweh said he's going to perform that. Christ reigns on the throne of David forever. Now let's see what the prophet Nathan prophesied through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahshua and told David himself.
2 Samuel. 2 Samuel 7 and 12.
God, book of 2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
And when thy days be fulfilled,
This is to David, read.
and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers,
Uh-huh.
I will set up thy seed after thee,
Thy seed, thy children, read.
which shall proceed out of thy bowels,
Uh-huh.
and I will establish his kingdom.
His kingdom. Who was a kid, Solomon, who later came back as Yahushua. His kingdom was the perpetual, eternal one that was going to be established. So he was going to succeed the throne of David perpetually. So David was not going to sit back on that throne in the kingdom. That throne belongs exclusively to Yahushua. Go ahead.
Keep going, or
No, that's it on that. Get Jeremiah 23 and 5. Let's bury this. This has been a long time. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah, we brought this out. Huh? We haven't done a video on this. So
No.
brought it. Okay.
book of Jeremiah chapter 23, verse 5. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will raise up David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth.
Not David. Read. That's it on that. That's Yahushua.
Let's end it with 1 Kings, where it called Rehoboam David.
Con.
1 Kings chapter 12. I think it's verse 9.
Verse 9.
Let me just double check. Okay. 1 Kings 12 and 16.
16, God. Book of 1 Kings chapter 12, verse 16.
So just to set the narrative, they had a council in Rehoboam. They wanted him to be king, I believe. And let's see what they told him.
God, verse 16. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we in David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see to thy own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents.
Right. So here you have, I believe it's Jeroboam telling Rehoboam to go back to your house,
David. Go back to your house, David.
So when you see that David's going to sit on the throne in Ezekiel, and I believe there's another part in Jeremiah, it's just talking about the Davidic line. That's it.
Yeah, and there's another example of that.
Well, GMS, they think, not saying Men of Valor believes this, but GMS, they say that Peter is David. So is Peter going to sit
on the 12th throne and then another throne?
Yeah, how's Peter going to sit on one of the 12 thrones as promised by Yahushua and be David at the same time and sit on another throne under Christ?
Yeah, that doesn't begin to make sense. There's another example of this I want to just show. Where is there's a Salakia. What was this? Hold on. 20. Okay, hold on. 1 second. Okay, right here. Leviticus. Let me see. Okay, go give me Leviticus 16 and read 2 to 3.
God, book of Leviticus, chapter 2, Salah, chapter 16, verse 2.
Read.
Yahweh said unto Moses, speak unto Aaron thy brother, that he come not at all times into the holy place,
the holy of holies. Read.
within the veil, before the mercy seat,
Read.
which is upon the ark, that he die not.
Read
For
on.
I will appear in the cloud upon the mercy seat.
Read on.
Thus shall Aaron come into the holy place with the young bullock for a sin offering,
Read.
and a ram for a burnt offering.
Go ahead.
He shall put on the holy linen coat, and he shall have the linen breeches upon his flesh.
So we see the Most High giving instructions to Moses about Aaron. It says, speak to Aaron and have him do these things. This is the sacrifice of the Day of Atonement. It says Aaron is going to do these things. But what happens after Aaron dies? Do we not have a Day of Atonement no more? Of course we do. His sons, his successors, but they're called, according to the law, they're called Aaron because they're going to do the place of Aaron. Same way with Yahushua being David. That just is a way for us to figuratively mention people and how they'll be succeeded by this prominent individual that they descend from. All right, that's why we're called Jacob. Are we named Jacob? No, we're not. But our forefather is Jacob or Israel or how we colloquially use Jake. You see what I'm saying? What other questions we got? Okay.
Was Balaam an Israelite?
No, he couldn't have been an Israelite.
Or was he?
Does it specify that?
It says his dad was an Edomite king.
No, there's Balaam's dad was an Edomite king.
Beor, yeah.
Baal Peor.
No, Beor.
Beor was an Edomite king. Where does it say that at? In the Strongs?
No, it says it right here. Hold on. What does it say?
Yeah, be all.
And these
Baal
are the
Peor,
kings,
the Lord of Peor.
These are the kings that reigned over the land of Edom before there reigned any king over the children of Israel. And Bela, the son of Beor, reigned in Edom. The name of the city was Dinhabah.
Okay, Beor. Bela, the son of Beor, that's Balaam's father?
Father, Edomite king.
Okay.
The name of the father.
Bela died.
No, but how does that relate to Balaam?
Balaam was his son.
It says son of Balaam, son of Beor.
Where does it say that?
Numbers 22 and 5.
Balaam, son of Beor, is that recapping what occurred? No, that's Numbers, so that's where Balaam is. Potentially, he could have been. I wouldn't even say that definitively that that's in Beor though. But I can't agree nor disagree with that, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but we know he wasn't an Israelite.
He was certainly not an Israelite. And he's spoken about like a dog the whole Bible, so certainly not Israel.
It says, what's the unforgivable sin? The blasphemy of the Holy Spirit.
Well, I mean, blasphemy is an evil lie on the Holy Spirit. So don't lie evilly on the Holy Spirit, like what Tazadaki has done at the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ by saying he's the comforter. That's what the Holy Spirit is. That's blasphemy. So go ahead.
It says, and the brother said, in Luke 10, 7 and 8, in the same house remaining, eating and drinking such things as they give, for the laborer's worth of his hire.
Okay, what verse is that?
This is 7, and then in verse 8 it says,
you need to get the pull the scripture, somebody. Matthew 7 and 8, Luke 7 and 8, Luke 10, 7 and 8.
10, 7 and 8.
Okay, so this is what he's saying. Were they keeping the law because they were eating whatever?
Whatever they were.
Okay, all right. So you said Luke 10, 7 and 8. Let me take a look. Okay. So let's start at 10. Start at 1. 10 and 1. Salakia, we don't even got to go to 10 and 1. Okay. Start at 10 and 5 and read to 10 and 8. And this is going to give you the understanding through the Spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that of course they were keeping the Levitical law. Read. Go ahead.
Luke 10 and 5. And into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, peace be to this house. And if
I'm thinking this is Matthew. Hold on. You know what? Let's Let's start at 1 actually to this understanding. Right? Y'all see the precept. If y'all got the precepts in your Bible, the precept you with Matthew 10. So we're gonna read 1 to 8. Sarge, hold Matthew 10, 5, and 6. Read.
Starting at 1. After these things, the Lord appointed over 70 also. Appointed other 70 also, and them sent 2 and 2 before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come. Verse 2. Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest.
Salakia. Start back at 1. I'm kind of reading up. This is just great. We know we're gonna read to 15. Go ahead.
After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 and 2 before his face into every city and place whither he himself would come.
Read on.
Therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few.
Read on. What's the harvest of great? The great multitudes of Israelites. Read.
Right. Pray ye therefore the Lord of harvest that he would send forth laborers into his harvest.
We the laborers, brothers that go on the street corners are the laborers. That's what these disciples were doing. Go ahead.
Go your ways. Behold, I send you forth as lambs among wolves. Carry neither purse nor scrip, nor shoes.
Read on.
And salute no man by the way.
Read on.
And into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, peace be to this house. And if the Son of Peace be there, your peace shall rest upon it.
Read on.
If not, it shall turn to you again. And the same house remain, eating and drinking such things as they give. For the laborer.
Are they good at eating, drinking, whatever, right? Are they keeping Levitical law? That's the question, right? Go ahead.
For the laborer is worthy of his hire. Go not from his house to house.
Read.
And into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you.
So they're being sent into cities, right? Hold that. Matthew 10, 5, and 6.
God. Book of St. Matthew, chapter 10, verse 5.
So they're being sent into cities. Read.
These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying,
Read.
Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not.
This is why Yahushua told them they could eat what they receive at these houses, because he only sent them into Israelite houses. He only sent them into houses in Israel. He said, don't go around the Gentiles and the Samaritans. Go where they're keeping the law. That's why it's okay for them to eat whatever they're receiving. Read.
But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
There you go. So jump back to Luke. Keep going. It's going to further hammer in the point. Go ahead.
Yeah, because it just says, and whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you. You know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna go into a house with damn heathens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they ain't gonna receive you.
Lawful stuff. They're not gonna receive you.
Also too, why is it they're keeping laws, but all of a sudden they just forget the Levitical dietary laws once they go into it?
Yeah, because you can't even make that point, because even those who argue that the Levitical dietary law is done away with, they can't substantiate it prior to Acts 10. Acts 10 is what they'll go to try to substantiate. You see what I'm saying? So even then, they were having this understanding that you got to keep the dietary law. That's stupid. Go ahead.
Verse 8. And into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you, eat such things as are set before you.
Why? Because these are cities where they're keeping the laws. Read.
And heal the sick that are therein, and say unto them, the kingdom of the Most High is come nigh unto you. But into whatsoever city ye enter, and they receive you not, go your ways out into the streets of the same, and say, even the very dust of your city, which cleaveth on us, we do wipe off against you. Notwithstanding, be ye sure of this, that the kingdom of the Most High is come nigh unto you. But I say unto you, that it shall be more tolerable in that day for Sodom than for that city. Woe unto thee, Chorazin.
Chorazin, read.
Woe unto thee, Bethsaida.
Bethsaida. These is Yahushua giving prophecies on the cities that they were going to go to. They weren't going to accept them, that he's sending them into. These are cities in Israel where they keep the laws. At least the dietary they keep it. That's just customary, right? Read on.
For if the mighty works have been done in Tyre and Zidon,
meaning he's not sending them into Tyre and Zidon, which are heathen cities, to do these mighty works. He's sending them into Israelite cities where they keep dietary law. Read. Which
have been done in you, they had a great while ago repented, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. Verse 14. But it shall be more tolerable for Tyre and Zidon at the judgment than for you. Verse 15. And you, Capernaum,
another Israelite city where they keep the dietary law. Read on.
which art exalted to heaven, shall be thrust down to hell.
You see that? So that's showing you that that's the only place where he was sending them, was where they were observing the dietary law, which is why it was okay for them to eat whatever they were given. Next question.
Matthew 15 and 21. The Canaanite woman that Yahushua helped, was she a Jew or a non-Jew?
She was a non-Jew.
It says, will the Lord show the same mercy to Rahab the harlot in the kingdom that Jehovah did?
Rahab the harlot has already been given mercy when she wasn't killed with the rest of her people, and she got to live in Israel. She already got her mercy.
You gotta ask that China man.
Hold on. Yeah, ask it because I don't. It keeps shooting me down to the bottom of the thing, so I gotta go back up. If you see it, go ahead, ask it.
I know. People think it's coughing.
I mean, what's the question?
That's what someone says. China Mac is Israelite.
Until I heard some of his newer music, I was compelled. He sounded a little bit offbeat in recent times, but you know, he could be for sure.
Hey, that's right, man. Was Antoinette Moore? Shouts out to you, sister. Brothers need to just stop asking a lot of foolish questions.
I mean, but again, that's Titus 3:9 too. Like, I mean, I can't tell you whether or not dudes are Israelites. Here's what I tell anybody that doesn't appear to be an Israelite. Could be whatever. If you believe you're an Israelite, then you do what an Israelite's supposed to do. Keep the law, statutes, commandments coupled with faith. And if you do it, I mean, we ain't gonna let you in our camp, but hey, if you do it and you are an Israelite and you get saved, then hey, you did the right thing. You know, all I can tell you, I tell the Israelites, no matter who you are, what you look like, keep law, statutes, commandments, and faith. Do what the Bible tells you to do, and that's the path to salvation. So, you know, if China Mac is an Israelite, that's what he should do. If he's not, I guess it's worth a try. I don't know. Either way, you know, we wouldn't. I wouldn't have him here in class with us.
Is it against the law to get a blood transfusion?
No, I would say no. If you need a blood transfusion, get a blood transfusion. My daughter had 4 blood transfusions when she was born.
That's it.
That's it. That's all the questions. All right. With that, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and say Shalom.